Sue. I don't get it, man.
Not all midi-chlorians.
Let's not start this now. We can't spoiler the right first fucking few seconds of the...
No problem. No, all Star Wars talk stops right now.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh,
Damn it!
hey, Internet.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, Internet?
Oh, hey.
Star Wars.
Chewbacca is BB-8's mother.
Spoilers.
We're here to do a podcast.
Yeah.
And celebrate Life Day.
Yes, happy Life Day, everybody.
Is it Life Day? Did they make clear what day was Life Day?
No.
Or was that a spoiler?
Let me tell you when Life Day was.
Okay.
Are they just using like the day the thing aired as Life Day?
I can't remember. I remember they had it in... Ooh, that was weird.
I guess
In
November
Star Wars-
17th.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
in
go with
Star
that.
Wars Galaxies, they celebrated it.
Oh,
They had...
Oh, that's right.
They
Yeah,
had Life Day in
that's
Star
right.
Wars Galaxies.
I remember. That
Yeah.
was dumb.
You could get like glowing orbs and other bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's November 17th.
Okay.
It's the air date of the...
That's what I thought it would be.
Well, still, happy Life Day.
Yeah,
Belated Life
Belated
Day.
Yeah.
Life Day, everybody.
Yeah, we're in the twilight of our Life Day.
Oh,
Man, talk about the war on Life Day.
Yeah.
So much of a war, we missed it. Put the Life Day back in Life Day. That's what I say.
Life, the reason for the season.
Put the Luda back in Luda Christmas.
Yes, that too. Man, we watched a Christmas classic tonight.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
beloved.
Actually, it's Initiation, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Chuck.
It depends on who you ask.
Oh.
And they didn't ask me.
Oh no!
They should have asked
Hey.
me because I didn't even put
Besides,
it in
that
the,
just
in
fucks up the
lower
naming.
Did the old chat vanish because of that whole stupid copyright thing?
Fair enough.
It's not there. At least I'm not seeing it online.
I have it.
Oh, there it is. Now it just loaded in. How about that?
third. Okay, we got to talk about how... talk about
message
how-
not sent.
yeah.
Try it.
We got to discuss how he enters the
discuss
room.
how you enter. We got to discuss how you enter.
All right.
Pop out. Chat.
Pop out.
Chat's there.
Pop out. Chuck.
Pop it up, trap.
Pop up, chat, pop.
Pop, pop.
Hmm.
Whoa.
Sure.
Hey, did the pop out go away again?
Pop out.
Oh, it just became a little thing you have to click now.
You
Okay.
have to click the thing.
Is it more Google
Oh, no.
like
there he is.
obscure it behind icons that mean nothing
Yeah.
type thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Google's really good
It's
about
a vertical ellipses of vertices.
that. Yeah. Google is so good about that.
Yeah, I don't have the old chat now either. Does it just pop in eventually?
I don't
Yes,
know.
it will.
I was gonna say I just have 2 lines.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. More comments.
Oi, it's a BMFcast.
Boy,
Yeah.
Oi, it's a BMFcast.
gift.
Sorry.
Gift.
Wait, see if they fucking there for a second.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about poop last time.
We were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We totally did talk about.
When did we
some
talk
poop.
about poop?
last
Last
week
time?
on
Chuck
the
put it at the
BMFcast.
end of the episode.
I did as a
Uh,
bonus.
Oh, the Fiber One chat made
Yeah.
it to the end.
Yeah,
Yeah. All of it.
I left it in.
Well, there you go. There you go. Let me see this Bill mask that I never noticed before. Yeah, I guess it does extend out a little bit. Yeah. It seems a bit extreme to chide it that hard, though.
Chide it.
Hey, man, the energy level. Whoo! We filled ourselves full of meat and then watched a
A movie about insects.
thing.
Buzz, y'all.
Thing.
Yeah, thing about a thing. Thing. My chat never popped in, so I guess all my chat's gone. Who's buzzing?
So, something about you better watch out. Is that another? Oh, 3, better watch out.
Yeah, that's 3.
Okay, we should have watched 3. I bet there's actually a killing Santa Claus in it.
Yeah.
Is this killing Santa Claus back for 5?
No.
No?
No.
Is it more bug witch ladies
Yes.
and shit?
And
Huh.
Mickey Rooney.
And Mickey Rooney. Oh, the number 1 star in the world? Mickey Rooney?
Bang.
House.
You hear me?
I've met Mickey Rooney.
Did he talk
Yeah.
like that?
Did he?
Huh?
Was he sitting on a fence with his legs just doing crazy shit?
Kind of a dick.
star
In the world.
in the world.
You hear me? Bang. I love they made a whole skit out of that nonsense.
Yep.
And they did it like 2 or 3 times. Just that's what Saturday Night Live does.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time for all the throat clearing.
Apologize to him.
Huh?
I said apologize to him.
I wasn't looking at anyone in particular, just, you know.
I'm just saying apologize to him.
I will accept it along with whoever else hears it. That's what I will do.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, you're welcome. Use it to buy a ship in Elite Dangerous.
Okay.
There was an Elite Dangerous commercial before Star Wars. That was
Really?
yeah.
I didn't get any. Well,
we
I
had
got,
Blizzard everything. We had Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone, and then we saw the Warcraft trailer. It was like all things Blizzard.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird, wild stuff.
We got that Batman trailer.
I kind of already bought Horizons, or this would go towards that.
Horizons.
Yeah, the Elite Dangerous Season 2, whatever.
Oh.
Basically, like almost like a whole new game with planetary landing now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that sounds dope. You guys up for some planetary landing?
Oh yeah,
You have no idea.
landing on planets.
all I do is land on planets.
All I do is
Some
land,
bitch.
land, no matter what.
All I want to do is land on planets.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's all you want to do.
Well, guess what,
Yeah.
BJ? Put your feet on the ground.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I'm almost as good as SpaceX.
Specs.
Did you say space sex?
SpaceX.
Ooh, SpaceX.
SpaceX with your SpaceX.
Oh,
no,
man.
you don't want to have SpaceX with your SpaceX.
Well, you know.
Unless it's Sissy SpaceX. Then
Oh, that's the
SpaceX with my SpaceX.
Sissy
Sissy
SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
SpaceX.
Man, that just done changed the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, carry on, my wayfarers.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that was good.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, should we make a podcast?
I would
Or
love.
are we still bantering?
No. I want to get right
Oh,
to
wait.
talking about this hot movie.
I took notes.
Oh,
Let me share them.
shit.
Let me share my notes.
Oh, man. This is going to hurt my head all over again, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, why do we do this? Why have we done this for 300 and something episodes?
Because we have fun together.
Have we?
Because
Yes.
we wouldn't hang out otherwise.
No, we hate each other
Yeah,
otherwise.
we'd be like,
Just make my hair look as stupid as humanly
Guys,
possible.
don't worry. 2016 is going to be better. No,
How
really.
could it be better?
Don't trust me.
Is it?
It's going to be a lot better.
Oh, man. 1991 is going to be so good.
How could it be better than 52 1990 movies in a row?
52 1991 movies?
Yep.
48.
That is one better.
48 because of blacksploitation.
Right.
Thank you very
Don't
much.
forget, we are only a month away.
But it's a leap year, so 49. 1991 movies.
I don't know if that's right.
That's not how a leap year works.
Yes, it is.
No, you don't get an extra week.
One extra week.
Nope.
Are you sure?
It is.
Are you sure?
There's Pluto days all around this year.
Pluternays.
Yeah.
Good old Pluternays.
What the hell is that?
Look it up sometime.
Okay.
Oh, shit. That's not. Hang on.
Share it with me.
Don't you?
Where's them notes?
I want to see.
I need some notes.
I want to know what this movie's about.
I will warn you now.
Riverbend notes.
A lot of
Not
these
the notes I
entries just end with "or some shit." Just throwing it out there now.
Okay, good.
Most of them end with something happens or some shit.
Sounds good.
See, we have a good time here.
Yeah. First one is fire lady flying off a roof confuses Clint Howard. That's our first note. A little Patreon content for you guys out there.
Preview.
Let me share that one. Share with others.
Hey, where is it?
I'm going to share with Chuck. I'm going to share with BJ. And I'm not
Hey,
going
where
to
is it?
share with you.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Give everyone your email address.
Where is it?
It is here. Send.
Where is it?
It's shared with 3 other people.
Oh my god, it just magically popped in. I didn't have to like refresh the page or anything.
It did it on its own.
It's so crazy.
The internet's weird, you guys.
Great googly moogly.
It's amazing how these things happen, isn't it?
We're like Web 3.0 right now. It's happening.
Oh, number 3 is my favorite.
Yes.
These are pretty good notes.
It was accurate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What?
Number 3. Weird sexy time.
Hell yeah.
Let's tell the people about this movie.
Oh, cannot wait. Nah, man, we got to do this on not our normal night because, you know,
Christmas.
holidays and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have families and crap.
Maybe you do.
I think you do too.
Hey, thanks for rubbing it in and all.
What? You all have a family.
No, Chuck, I don't.
You're a liar.
You're my family
I wish you
now.
were-
I mean,
well-
just you.
Me?
Yeah, just you.
I'm going to be here. I never leave
Not
the
those
studio.
two.
I'm always here.
I mean, we're it's, you know, this side, family style, the table. Here. This side. We're going family style.
You and I can't go family
We're going
style.
family style on this side of the table.
No.
What?
Is that what that means?
Nope.
No.
It does not. So not what it means.
Well, shit. I've
Yeah.
been using that wrong. Man,
Yes.
no wonder the last family reunion was so awkward.
And scene.
Let's do a podcast.
All right.
Why not? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
304.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is it 304?
Yep.
It's 304.
304. Four Silent
Man.
Night, Deadly Night
Yeah,
4.
the 4th episode of season 2.
Yes.
Silent Night 4. Deadly Night
4.
4.
2 plus 2 is 4. Right.
Tell me about the numbers.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Tell me about the numbers.
I can't see your 4 horsemen.
What? All right, let's talk about this thing.
All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey! BMFcast!
Episode 304.
Nintendo.
Nope.
Yay, season 2, episode 4.
All right.
Yeah.
S2E4.
2.04.
C. S2E4 as well.
Donde está?
Buenos dias.
Right. Me llamo Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
Soy BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And what we do each and every episode of the BMFcast is we go ahead and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Come in here and talk about it for the first half. Then we rate them. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. Take it 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Hooray for robot jocks.
All right. Yeah.
But the bad movies, as in Stay Away, they get a negative sliding scale 1 to 5 bags, as in douchebags after Twilight.
Boo. Garbage.
Thumbs down
Fart
to Twilight.
Hashtag fart noise. So, the holiday season is upon us.
Yeah.
And we thought, hey, what better way to celebrate the birth of the baby Jesus than with Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 from 1990?
That is my
Initiation.
perennial favorite way to celebrate the baby Jesus.
Every year.
Yes.
Watch it.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 4.
Gather the family
Initiation
around.
is
We're
a Christmas
putting
movie.
the What the Christ back in Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Initiation, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, or Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation. The initiation is wherever you wish to put it.
Whatever.
Plot summary. That's the thing. I'll read it.
It really is.
A reporter investigating the bizarre death of a woman who leaped from a building in flames finds herself mixed up in a cult of witches who are making her part of their sacrificial ceremony during the Christmas season.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. Good times had by all. Glad tidings for you and yours.
Put the Christmas rituals back in Christmas.
Yep.
Yes.
Put the witchcraft back in.
Yeah.
Witchcraftmas.
It's witchcraft.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this movie. Fuck. Yeah, well, okay, so Flying Lady Death Time happens in the very first scene of the movie.
Flying Lady Death Time.
Clint Howard is rummaging through trash when he comes upon a lady who's
Came
lady who's-
upon a flaming lady. Yeah.
he comes upon a lady whose undercarriage is on fire, who then leaps from a building.
Yes.
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 Her naughty bits are in flames.
She had a flaming undercarriage.
Garter en flambeau. More like
No.
No.
En fuego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she dies.
But he doesn't stop there because he goes over to investigate and reaches inside of one of her burning chasms and kind of pokes around and is like, huh.
Pokes her tookus.
Yeah. She's very quickly like developed deep burn areas of her lower torso. So he's just like, are you
Poking
sure
at
you're
you.
dead?
Yeah. And she is.
And she's dead. Yeah.
And he's like, huh, that's hot.
Well, no, that joke is
Very
saved
warm.
for later.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Whoops. Preview.
Yeah, because like there's cops and there are things happening. There's credits happening. There's crazy credits.
Oh, yeah.
Spinny, awesome, crazy credits.
Somebody got an Avid.
They're pretty dope
that
credits.
for Christmas that year.
Yeah. Merry
Or a
Christmas.
sweet Amiga toaster.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Just folding, twirling, spinning credits. Someone was like,
it's
hey,
like-
let's not do a normal credit
It's like
sequence.
my first movie credits project.
It's better than that.
No, it's not.
It's all right.
No, it's not. It's bad.
Come on,
Yeah.
like the Silent Night, Deadly Night goes into like a weird like CBS special presentation font, and then a 4 flies out of it.
Yep. That was pretty sweet.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even the people who are in the movie's names, which there's Clint Howard.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
There's Octopussy.
Yes, Maude Adams.
Some other people you'd probably recognize, but maybe
there
not put a
is
name
the
to.
dude from Phantasm.
There's
Yes.
the dude from Phantasm.
He's the editor of the newspaper.
Uh-huh.
He's only in a couple scenes.
yeah, he's the bald.
I mean, there's a couple people you'd be like, oh, I recognize you from a movie.
But yeah.
the male lead was in a season of Mad About You.
Well then.
Great.
Uh-huh.
That's good to
That
know.
is so good to know, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the female lead is a chick named Neith Hunter,
Neath Hunter.
who when you
She
Google
hunts
her,
neaths.
you will either get,
Yeah.
if you do an image search, you will get plenty of nudity. Let's just put it that way.
If you are not at work right now,
Yeah.
go to Bing and search her name.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Otherwise, you'll get apparently Smite coverage because there's a character called the Neith Hunter
Oh,
in
okay.
Smite.
Oh, that-
So go figure.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, children,
Are they big fans of this movie? or something,
I
maybe?
kind of wonder.
they
don't
could
know.
be.
I don't know. But yeah, she's our lead.
Yeah.
And we are introduced to her mid-sex.
Well, to be fair, we're watching the news coverage of the aftermath of Flaming Lady Death Time.
Yes.
But there's no sound. It's the silent night of the Deadly Night part.
Yeah.
Deadly Night happened first.
Right.
Deadly Night. Yeah,
Followed
they
by
got it
Silent
out of order.
Yeah,
How did
they flipped the script. That's
Yeah.
what we weren't expecting that.
No, this whole movie's unpredictable.
But yeah, all you hear is the sounds of them having sex.
Right.
As the camera slowly pans back from the TV. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
It's naked people rolling around.
It was actually kind of like the opposite version of that skit in Kentucky Fried Movie. Like we're watching the
Kinda,
news,
yeah.
and there's sex happening behind
Yep.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay.
And yeah, and she's trying to watch the news. At one point, she's like, "Oh, but this is that.
Oh, that
this is
lady
that
caught
story
on fire."
about that fire lady."
Yeah. And he's like, come on.
And he's like,
let's just keep having the sex.
Yeah.
And she's like, but
Let's-
that story's interesting.
Yeah.
And he's
Let's
like,
get step one done
yeah,
first.
we're here for a
But
reason.
no.
Turn that
Kind of
off.
hole in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it to the regular porn.
Yeah. And which they do.
Oh yeah.
And as we learn, they both work at a newspaper.
It's called La I or
Lie.
La Ojo.
Yeah.
Newspapers. That's quaint.
It is.
Yeah.
It's cute. But it's a very busy
It's also the
newspaper.
worst workplace ever.
It's not very professional.
No.
It's Anchorman.
Well, it's LAI technically. It's in this newspaper. I
Okay.
just like to say La Ojo.
Yes.
Yeah. But she's in charge of the classifieds and the calendar.
Calendar.
But has aspirations of being a real reporter.
Yeah, she wants to be a real reporter someday.
Yeah.
Right. But she works in male chauvinist The Office.
Yeah. Where everyone's just like, ha ha, you're a girl.
That's
you can't do boy
cute.
work.
Go make me some coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
And there's one dorky guy who's just like, huh? You having sex with him, huh?
He's the one that makes the joke of like they're watching I like that the newspaper is watching the news, much like actual reality.
yeah.
And they're like commenting, and that's when he's like, "Yeah, she was pretty hot, huh?"
yeah.
We're men and we're
Yeah, right
funny.
away we got a good joke, and it's like, okay, this movie has a sense of humor.
No.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Quickly, that is the worst workplace.
Yeah.
Like
And she wants to pitch the story that she wants to cover this.
Yeah,
And immediately, as soon as the editor hears her say something about it, he does the classic, "Hey, I have an idea." and then sends her boyfriend, puts her boyfriend on the story who didn't even want it in the first place.
Yeah. He was like, nah, it's a terrible idea for the story.
Which enrages her, and she goes to investigate the story herself.
Just because.
Because she understands how newspapers work, and if you just unsolicited skip out of your job and go...
Turn in a story.
Work on a story on your own. That's going to get you your job, your big break.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's called gumption.
I've heard of gumption.
They work off of gumption and moxie, or a combination. If you have both, you've got the goods.
Spunk.
I believe.
If you experience symptoms of gumption and moxie, please call your doctor.
Yeah. But so she goes to the scene of the death and talks to a weird Chinese butcher guy while trying to get nuts out of one of those little machines.
He's a butcher and he's Chinese. He doesn't butcher the Chinese. I just want to be clear.
He butchers the English when he speaks to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be
he's
fair.
a butcher of meat and vocabulary.
Okay. That is
grammar.
Fair. Yes.
He's a grammar butcher.
Yes. Well, he speculates that the flaming death lady may have been a hooker.
Yes.
And she's like, well, that's swell.
Yeah, because basically the information is just like, she was on the roof. How'd you get to the roof? Anyone could get to the roof.
Anyone in this building has access to the roof.
What do you think she was doing up there? She was probably a hooker.
No.
Okay.
Oh, and also he fixes the vending, the little gum. It's a gumball machine full of nuts.
Yeah, he Fonzies the top of it.
And nuts come out, but his hands are completely bloody.
Yeah, so she gets his bloody nuts.
Well said. Yeah. I think we're done here.
Note, I think that's the first time I've ever seen a human actually use one of those things.
Yeah, not for nuts.
Yeah,
I mean,
and certainly not for nuts.
You fill one of those things with nuts, no. N-O. Do not.
Yeah, but
like Mentos or something.
This does lead to her going around the corner to inspect the crime scene, which has the single best chalk outline in the history of chalk outlines.
It's pretty good.
Because only half of a chalk outline.
There's burning ash, like ash stains on the concrete for the legs and the waist down.
Yeah.
And they've only traced the chalk outline on the top half of her body to basically finish the outline.
Because they don't need it.
But it's not even like an outline. It's like... It looks like a Keith Haring drawing of a person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just right angles but yeah, it stops at the waist and then it's just
I just like that they were like, well, we don't really need a full chalk outline. Then the burning half took care of that half.
Yeah.
Chalk outline
Somebody
guy
was just being efficient. Yeah, that's all
like,
it is.
Hey, we don't have enough chalk for this.
It's
all right.
Perfectly in the shape of a bottom half.
It never rains here. It's LA. We're fine. Yeah, so she checks that out, and
that goes in the bookstore.
Yeah, Maud Adams' bookstore.
Yeah, her name is FEMA.
Yes,
sure
is.
Federal Emergency Management Association.
Right.
She asks for books about spontaneous combustion.
Well, first she's kind of like browsing around and is like, "Hi, Maud Adams. I'm going to go look back here in the."
She's trying to be all like nonchalant about being in there. She's like, "Oh well," but Clint Howard is just like wandering around. He looks like a homeless guy. Let's make this clear. Like more homeless than Clint Howard usually looks.
Yeah,
I think he is a homeless guy, but like the implication is he lives on the roof.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got like just a camouflage jacket, and he's all filthy, and
his hair's even more crazy than normal.
It's imagine Clint Howard, and then they imagine they'd Clint Howarded him up a bit.
Yeah, they're like, you don't look Clint Howardy enough. We need you at full Clint Howard.
Right? Come on.
Yeah, but he's just wandering through this bookstore, like staring her down and like getting uncomfortably close to her, until eventually she just screams at him to get away.
Yeah,
and that's when Octopussy comes over and is just like, "Oh, don't worry about him."
Well, he pokes her in the butt.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
she's kneeling down to look for a book, and he just he kind of like has two fingers out, and the camera kind of follows his two fingers all the way down, and he just pokes her on the butt cheek, and she's like, "Hey, you motherfucker! What the?" He's like, "What? I just
It just seemed like a thing.
Yeah,
I should do.
It was there. I had to poke it.
Yeah.
Maud Adams like, "You get out of here!" And he just goes and stands like 5 feet away, and just stands there for the rest of the scene. So
yeah.
And then it's like, "Do you have any books on spontaneous combustion?" She's like, "Oh yes." Right over here in our real crazy shit section.
Very hot section.
Well, they also shake hands. She introduces herself, and they shake hands.
Oh, God.
And they don't let go for, like, 45 seconds, maybe more.
It's an unnaturally long time.
It's weird, because first, like, reporter lady doesn't let go. And then it's like, okay, you can let go of her now. And then Maud Adams, like, goes in for, like, the double clutch.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yes, it's very nice to meet you. This is so fun. It's so nice.
This is nice. Do you moisturize?
Yeah, so that's odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after they're done clutching hands, they've finished their conversation. They go up to the register. She's trying to buy her unexplained phenomenon book about the
About the bursting into the flames and whatnot.
And she's like pushing this other book on her. She's like, "Here, take this book." It's I never did catch the full title. It's basically like
Flirtations of
something
womanhood or something.
Virgin was in the title. I know
Oh,
that, yeah.
Flirtations of the Virgin
Womanhood
body.
I don't
Flesh.
know.
I don't know.
Pokey
Flesh,
poke.
maybe.
I don't know.
It's basically the field guide to the Lilith Fair.
Yeah.
Is essentially what she's got.
And the girl's like, no, I
can't,
can't
yeah.
take that. I can't accept that. And she's like,
a
well,
gift.
here, we're having a party.
Picnic.
Yeah, picnic.
A picnic.
We are having a picnic.
She never says who.
She just says we are having a picnic. Here's the address. Why don't you come? And she's like, sure. That seems
Okay, now I can accept your book.
But we're forgetting a key part of this. She when she first goes to pay, there are 3 bowls of fruits
Dates, prunes.
They look like prunes
Yeah.
sitting on in this. Yeah.
There are dark fruit things
Yes.
in bowls, and Maud Adams offers her one. She's like, "Thanks, I haven't eaten all day."
Yeah.
She takes one.
Dates.
Okay,
Yeah. He checked the internet film.
sure.
fruit
Fact check.
database.
I guess dates have a pit. I thought they were a nutty like thing, but I've never had a date, so
Aw.
that sounds terrible.
Aw. Aw.
I know.
Forever
Okay, buddy.
alone.
Chin up, buddy.
It'll happen for you one day. Don't worry.
So sad you knocked your microphone.
I've had such a breakthrough here. I'm so glad you guys could be here with me. But no, she's just like, thanks, I haven't eaten all day. Takes one,
Yep.
like, kind of unnaturally savors it, and then proceeds to spit the pit out into the palm of her hand. And Maud Adams is like, ooh, let me get that for you.
Yeah.
And, like, gets a tissue and takes... I mean,
Using
it's,
it for some witchy shit,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's all,
But
it's
also
all very strange.
uncomfortable. Like, I would never in a million... First, and
I wouldn't
never
take
in a
a
million
date
years,
from a bowl of
no.
date in a dusty old weird bookshop.
No,
Yeah.
and then I wouldn't, like, spit it out in my hand and then be like, hey, lady, get a tissue and take this from me. No, none of that. But our lead character is kind of an idiot.
Kind of, yes.
It's like at no point is it clear like when she might be under some sort of spell. She's just
Always.
an idiot the entire time.
Right.
Like her motivation is good, like equality and
Well,
like,
first she ate the bloody nuts, and then she had the random dates
She didn't
here.
eat the bloody nuts.
No,
she just carried them away.
around, yeah.
Okay, well, still.
she never put
She
the bloody
made
nuts in her
contact with the
mouth.
bloody nuts.
She
Yeah.
did.
You
Yeah,
know.
she willingly took them and didn't be like, "You're gross."
Yeah. So, stranger danger food here. She's eaten that, and now she's been given the address to this picnic that we are having.
Yeah, they are having.
and stuck on a bookmark inside the book. Therefore, forced to also take this book now.
Yeah. So she does.
Uh-huh.
And then when she leaves, she decides to go up to the roof to, check out.
The crime scene.
And it's another weird scene because like Maud Adams takes her to whatever back alley that get inside this building that gets you up to the roof, and it's just like bye.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay,
She's
bye.
gone.
It's just she strangely disappears once
Yep.
again.
Enjoy your time on the spiral roof.
And she goes upstairs and she walks over to the edge and stands up on the edge and kind of, hands out. Jesus is on the ledge for a while Clint Howard's like, yeah, she's on the roof now. And, the whole thing like, I'm going to fall. Oh, okay. I'm all right. Comes back
Yeah.
down. And
No, well, yeah. And then she comes back. Clint Howard's on the roof watching her. And she kind of walks over near him, and he reaches into a vent in the roof and pulls out a giant fleshy caterpillar thing that's like over a foot long, and it's big and squishy, and it's like,
Kind of imply that it's maggoty.
yeah,
It's a maggot.
and it's like slithering around, and she's like, ew.
but it's huge.
And-
I mean, it's
yeah.
comically huge.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
It's a special effect.
well,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I was.
it's a giant, nasty looking thing.
I'll be honest. Up until this point in the movie, I was kind of watching this movie, making this joke in my head that our Neath lady was a low rent Gina Davis, and then he pulls out this like maggot thing out of the pipe, and I'm like, okay, she's obviously a low rent Gina Davis because they're just aping the fucking fly right now,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
They proceed to go further down the Cronenberg hole later.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean, she works in a newspaper, so I was like, well, all right,
Ew,
Fletch.
Cronenberg hole is
I'm like,
the grossest hole.
It's
I'm like,
fleshy and weird
Fletch
in
much, here she's working on a newspaper, and then she's, then it gets all maggoty. I'm like, all right, so someone's got a weird Gina Davis fetish here.
It's all maggoty.
Yeah. Yeah, but she just kind of like shrugs this off, like,
Oh yeah, like that.
oh, that was
that seems normal.
You're weird, Clint Howard.
gross homeless guy.
Yeah.
And then
gross homeless guy producing a weird maggoty thing from a
Yeah.
vent that
Yeah.
a thing that does not occur in nature.
Right.
Nope.
But
Yes.
she's like, well, that's really odd.
Yeah.
See you later.
So she goes back to her apartment, which it's naked lunch in there.
Yep.
There's
Yes.
roaches everywhere, and then there's a giant roach.
Yep.
Like 4-foot long roach.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that comes
That
later
pokes
because
its head out from under the couch.
that's like, okay, so she her entire kitchen is covered with bugs, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
and she sprays everything. But then she has a plate of spaghetti, and she sits down to eat that. But there's bugs on that. So
she's reading the book. She's got the book open, and
Right.
then her spaghetti turns into a spiral because a spiral is where all women get their
power,
power.
or
I guess
something.
I don't know.
Yep. And then
I don't know anything about lady parts.
It's a spiral.
Apparently,
It's a spiral down there.
Does that
Yeah.
explain ducks?
It's complicated.
It's a perfect spiral. All ladies get their power from Tom Brady. It's a perfect spiral.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
because ducks have the.
No, both jokes make sense.
It's further down you saying.
Well, anyway, I mean, the thing is, they're pre-naked. They're naked lunching, but they're pre-naked lunching because this movie came out before it. But yeah, I mean, it starts with a plate of spaghetti, and there's bugs, and she flips the spaghetti onto the floor, and then there's more bugs, and then there's more bugs.
Well, and then she gets a call from the boyfriend who she was supposed to go have dinner with the parents, but she's like, "Fuck you, guy, because you stole my story." See,
Sorry. I did my best to wait till you were into the sentence.
and so she's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm getting the fuck out of here." So
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to spend time with you, but
again,
whatever.
Not before there is a 4-foot high cockroach.
That's
right?
after- that's when she
after?
comes back.
Oh, that's when she comes back.
Yeah, it's just all the little
Okay.
bugs at this
Oh,
point.
So
okay.
she saw the bugs, and she's like, "Fuck it, I
I got to get out of here."
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
Leaving the spaghetti on the floor.
Right.
And everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So she goes to have a holiday meal with her boyfriend's family.
Yeah,
Who are-
which is the mom who looks like she's in her 60s, the dad who has the attitude of being in his 60s.
Who's just chugging beer.
Yeah, who's chugging beer and making bad jokes. And then the son who's like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Even though this woman's like in her 60s, but this is this guy's little brother and we don't know what's going on.
This guy
but
who I mean, they keep making jokes about him being so much more senior and older than her, and she's the new girl in the office or whatever.
He's maybe 30.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, they make the jokes out like he's like 40 or something. Like, he's
Yeah.
been around a long time.
Yeah.
He's seen a lot of shit.
No.
But he's got a 10-year-old brother.
yeah. But
Well, he's
yeah,
seen
it's
some shit.
it's all like the
produced that.
mom's being really nice and like, oh, here, have one of these.
Pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
Family.
She's like,
heirloom.
oh, these are delicious. It's great, And then the dad's like, get me a beer. Merry Christmas. And then they say something. It comes up that she's Jewish.
Yeah. Well, the little kid's like, you put your tree up yet?
She's like,
No.
And the boyfriend's like, well, listen here, Billy.
Jewish.
She's Jewish. And the dad's like, oh, fucking great.
Yeah, the dad is like instantly like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And the mom's like,
Yeah.
oh,
And
dear.
then
Here
she's
we
like,
go.
well, and she's like, she gives the whole like, well, other traditions. Everyone has a ceremony around this time of
Yeah.
year, and it's all, it's all about how you celebrate it and bring it all together. And
But then she's also
and-
like, I'm not religious at all, so I don't really celebrate anything.
Well, no, but and the dad is just like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus is the reason for the season. Fuck you.
The best part is he gets into like, well, Eve was made out of the rib of Adam, and I'm going to quote it line for line and take it as gospel fact. There's no allegories whatsoever. God damn it! Right? It's
Because like she's talking about getting a, he's like, well, she's like, she's working on a bigger story, and he's like, woman should be in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, because then he's like, he tells the whole Eve rib thing. He's like, I think that's in your Bible too. And the son's like, well, hold on, that's just a myth. That's nonsense. That's not real. And he's like, no, it's all true. God damn it. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, guy. So
Yeah.
the Christmas is going badly.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, well, I think then so the boyfriend takes her outside, and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry that went poorly, all that. And she's like, man, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's just like,
Let's fuck.
yeah, well, he's like throat kissing her. He's like, no, I'm going to choke
he's
my
like,
tongue
he's
as far
like
as I
hand
can.
going up the skirt.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
he's like lifting up her skirt in the middle of the front yard. She's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
He's like, what?
He's like, "Ugh."
She's like, you're like a fucking
Yeah.
dog. What's wrong with you? And she's just like, he's just like, I don't get. What do you mean? What? What's the problem?
Well, yeah, it's a common theme in this movie that like all the men are just horrible.
Yes.
Like horrible in different ways, but basically all horrible.
Right. But all the women aren't any better.
Yeah.
They're just more evil. It's a weird.
Yes.
It's so strange.
But yeah.
So
she's like, she gets mad at him and tells him off, and it seems like they break up because she's like, fuck this and fuck you too, and
fuck your dad.
I'm leaving in my Chrysler LeBaron, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so she goes home, and then that's when it's Giant Roach in the apartment. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, Giant Roach in the apartment, and she's like, what in the hell? And then, like, she's stumbling around.
It starts, she looks down, she sees her spaghetti, which is now, like, in the form of a hand.
Yeah.
And it's pulsating and bugs are coming out. And she's like, oh, fuck, I left the spaghetti. And then she looks over to, like, by her bed or whatever, and it's like, there's, like, a head of a giant...
It's by the futon.
And she's like, Giant Roach. And she's just casually moving things out of the way to go squash the Giant Roach instead of doing what everyone would do, which is move the fuck off this planet. Like,
Well, I
take
mean-
all the money and put it into SpaceX and shoot yourself the fuck up into space. No need to worry about landings because I'm not coming back.
She should have lit the apartment on fire.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the proper reaction to a 4-foot roach poking out from under the couch going, hey, what's up? Yeah.
It's really all her fault, though, because that's what you get when you leave the spaghetti on the floor.
That's true, yes. Giant ass cockroaches. But
If you leave the swirly spaghetti on the floor and let it turn into a hand, you're going to get giant cockroaches. That's how it works.
that is true. They say that right on the raid can.
This is how we get giant cockroaches, Lana.
So she eventually locks herself in the bathroom.
Yeah,
'cause
'cause she
that's
starts-
kind of a smart reaction to, oh my God, there's a giant roach out there.
Sure, that would be the second thing to do.
And then gets violently ill and vomits into the toilet, and there's like roaches in there too.
Yep.
Which I guess it's implied that she puked up one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she just passes out. She's
Well, yeah,
like,
and she passes out while the roach is putting its little feelers
It's like, hey.
underneath
You okay in there?
underneath the door.
He'd been looking for a job for a long time.
Yeah.
He's
Putting his feelers out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, she
You guys
passes out,
hiring down
and
at
then,
the
and then passes out, and then the next morning, what's her name from Moonlighting? Janice, was that her name?
Sure.
Yes.
From accounting.
Yeah, who is one of her coworkers, and he's like, "Oh, are you okay? You're not at work."
Yeah, we didn't hear from you.
Yeah, and then she's just like got puke on the front of her shirt, looks like death.
It's been a rough night.
Yeah, but there's no roaches anywhere around. Though.
No.
Like her apartment just looks normal now. So she's like, "Man, I had a."
She's got the night roaches bad,
Yeah.
man. Silent night, deadly roach night.
So, but she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I
got a
was
thing.
just fucking tripping balls last night, and there's a 4-foot roach in here, but
I'm okay now.
I puked it out, so we're good.
Right. We're all
good.
good now.
Come down's rough, but we're good now.
Yeah. She's like, I gotta go to a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done with my spirit quest here.
Yeah. So she's like, I guess I'll go to that weird picnic in the park with them ladies. See what's up with that. So she does. She just goes to the park, and they're actually having a picnic, and like, oh, you came. Well, that's nice. And there's an older lady there.
I
and
brought wine.
Yeah, and another lady, and the other lady and older lady get up to go for a walk in the woods. You know,
And like, she's been here for all of 3 minutes. Like, she sat down and like consumed an entire glass of wine and is already on her second one. Like, this seems to be in real time. There's no like passage of time, and all of a sudden, like, they're like, "Oh, I guess we got to go walking now and leave you with Octopussy here." And she's just like, "Oh, I just had too much wine. I'm going to lay down and look at the sky."
grab this tree that I can't really reach.
I believe doesn't
Octopussy kisses her.
Yeah, kisses her, and
Yeah.
then she's just kind of like looking at the tree, and all of a sudden, boyfriend guy is just like standing over her, like, "What the hell?
Hey,
What are you doing here?"
the shit are you doing?
It's like it's like Wednesday.
Yeah, let's get to work.
Boss is like, "What the fuck? Where are you?"
Well, 'cause
classifieds aren't gonna write
Janice was
themselves.
saying the same thing of like, "Oh, he was so angry when he didn't show up today or this
Yeah.
morning or whatever." I guess.
Yeah, come on.
And so she goes to work, and it's just like he's like, well, I love that. Like her boss is supposedly having a shit fit, and he's just like, "Hey,
Hey,
where you been?
what's going on?"
Well, if that's a shit fit, like,
I know.
Yeah.
I
Throw
want
more
that
shit fits,
boss.
yeah.
And then like,
He proceeds to put her on the story.
yeah, because the boyfriend's like, he said you had a good idea about the thing, so why don't you do the thing? You've already done like 2 weeks worth of classifieds in your calendar,
Yeah.
so
You're good.
go ahead and do the thing and your other job, and if you do both well, maybe we'll let you keep doing what you want to do.
Yep.
Now get out there.
Yep. So then they go check out the crime scene again and go up on the roof, and he apologizes to her, and they make up, and then basically he's like, hey, this got me kind of hot and bothered.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'll be home later.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Get
we'll
outta
deal
here.
with this.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah, and that's when she goes downstairs to Octopussy's apartment.
Mhm.
And it's like Octopussy invites her in, and then she's like, here, have some tea. And here, I'm sprinkling something in it. It's not peyote.
Don't worry about
I promise it's not peyote.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah, you'll be fine. No shrooms. No, you're none of that stuff.
Sugar dust.
Yeah. And she's like, wow, this is really bitter.
Yeah.
Tea.
She's like, just keep drinking it.
Yep.
And then again, starts getting violently ill, spills the tea everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Maud Adams starts acting like this is a really odd thing because she's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, look what you did. Just take this under the saucer, clean that up. Oh, jeez. You know, it's.
Yeah, she's weird.
Yeah.
Like just weird is the only way to describe so much of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then she tries to force feed her another prune, or a date, sorry.
Well, she offers her the bowl.
And she's like, nah.
Eat this, you'll feel better.
Yeah.
And she snatches one out of the bowl and looks at it in her hand, and it's a bug.
Yeah.
And she's like, whatever, and shoves it in her mouth. And that's when shit goes wrong. That's when this scene goes bad.
Yeah, that's when we get into, like, Cronenberg's like, hey, guys, dial it back a bit with the whole body horror stuff.
I think she was testing, like, to see. I think the tea was supposed to give her, like, control in some ways, and like, you are susceptible to my influences now. Do the things I tell you to, and that yelling at her about the tea spill was testing it. Is what it seemed like. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but it kind of becomes like this montage of like spooky things we've seen up to that point and some made up shit that could or could not be happening maybe. But it's just this quick cuts of flashes of things like here's some bugs in the sink and here's a spooky lady and here you know, it's just a bunch of gross stuff.
Yeah, until Clint Howard shows up and they're just like, all right, they put stuff on her forehead, like ashes on her forehead, and then they draw a spiral on her belly. And then they bring out one of those nasty caterpillar fleshy things.
Yep.
And Clint Howard's like, check this out.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that birthed from her mouth and then he?
No, that
No,
comes
he-
after.
He
puts
got
it
the
on her
larva
belly.
thing first.
Okay.
Yep. And then they pour something on, like they put the blanket over it.
That's
and then
right.
Then they
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
a rat on top of it.
Right. Yep.
And then the thing apparently burrows into her stomach, and they're like, yeah, you have to force the fear out.
Right.
To which she then pukes up the nasty caterpillar thing.
Like it's like they're 3 foot long. Just be.
I'm kind of wondering how they filmed that.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
This
Like it's
is
one
a-
of those, like, how did you guys do that?
Yeah. It's a giant contraption hanging out of her mouth that she is
Yeah.
still vomiting out more of.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if that's a fake head.
If it was a fake head, it was a really, really good fake head.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
I mean-
it's a real head. Other things going on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
if
know,
if a
but-
big budget movie like
Yeah, I don't think it was-
Terminator can't do
I
this.
mean, maybe it's a thing
Right.
they
I mean, I
pull
know
out,
it's
and
6 years
maybe they
before, but-
inflate it as they're pulling it out.
That could be
Yeah.
That's got to be what it is.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a really convincing effect of her puking up this giant caterpillar thing.
Yeah. Which then comes out fully formed and is just like chilling on the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they just drizzle.
Clint Howard
Yeah,
chops
Clint
it in
Howard
half.
he chops it
Yeah,
in half.
that's right. And they hold it over her face and just drip all the whatever.
Well, they're
goo.
dripping. They're
weird
dripping
clear
KY
goo.
jelly on her.
Right.
But, I mean, like it's you know,
Still.
it's supposed to
goo.
be bug guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's just, it goes on. And it's just like, okay, guys. Okay.
no. I mean, no. Like it goes and then it goes beyond.
I know.
Because, like it's like all right, yes, there's a little bit of goo on her face. Okay, now there's a lot of goo on her face. Now her face is covered in bug goo.
Yes. Now cut back to Clint Howard going, yeah. Just waving the thing over her face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 And then she wakes up and she's like, man, that was
weird.
another bad trip.
Yeah. Wonder what's up with that.
Yeah.
And then
probably,
the
like,
go
old
home or
lady's
something.
there and is like, oh, you can't leave yet.
Yeah.
And then Octopussy comes out and is like, oh, no, you can't leave. And then the other ladies that were there are suddenly in the room, and it's like everyone's in the room going, "No, you can't leave. You're golden now. You're good."
Yeah, but
And she's like,
she does the move that works on every evil lesbian witch cult ever. She goes whoop, whoop. And Serpentine motions her way out of the apartment.
Yeah, she gets right out of
one
there.
little juke move, and they're like, what? Oh,
Yeah, and she goes back to her apartment where her sometimes boyfriend is sleeping. Mm-hmm. And she's not herself.
"No."
She comes in, and there's a lot of just uncomfortable yelling, and they break a mirror in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and
she's having a complete freak out.
well, she was
Like,
also
she's
trying
having-
to swallow pills or
Fully
something.
deserved.
Yes, she's trying to kill herself.
Freak
Yeah,
out.
she's having a complete episode,
Yeah.
which you can't blame her for this.
No.
in any way. And he's just like,
What's wrong with you?
What is like? Tell me what's going on. What's wrong? What?
Are you
yeah,
okay?
Like, why are you flipping out? And she's like, trying to. I think she takes pages of that book and tries to flush them down the toilet,
Right.
which of course they don't go down the toilet.
No.
And then she
So it starts overflowing.
Yeah, and then she just grabs a big
Just whatever
bottle
pills.
of pills and just starts, popping them like, shaking them over her head into her mouth.
She pops the cap off and just throws the
Yeah.
bottle of
Yeah,
the pills
just-
at
and
her
he just
mouth.
slugging them back like a shot.
shaking her.
And he's that's when he kind of gets control of her.
She's going for the pill shot.
Yeah. And he shakes her, and then like eventually she just starts crying on the bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And then suddenly she turns it on.
Yeah, she flips him over and is now straddled over him and going, "Go to sleep, fall asleep. I want to fuck you while you're asleep."
Yeah. Won't that be hot? And he's
Yeah.
pretty much sleeping. He's like not an active participant in any of this anymore. He's
No.
just like, whatever, it's late. And
Meanwhile, Clint Howard has just kind of wandered into the apartment, and while she's writhing all over this guy, Clint Howard sits down on the end of the bed,
yeah.
turns on the TV, and watches one of the entries from the previous.
Right. One of the actual related Silent Night Deadly Nights.
which actually has a Santa Claus in it.
Uh-huh.
Which you'll note this one has not so far.
Nope.
Also, very little Christmas or any other holiday for that matter.
Well, it had that whole family encounter that was a lot of Christmas all at once.
so much cheer and intolerance.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and then somehow, she's writhing around, and I think Clint Howard just starts laughing at the movie.
Well, yeah, he goes like, "Murdering Santa Claus." Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like,
that's
"What
when
the-
the
get
dude's
the
like,
fuck
"Wait,
out."
what the fuck are you? What
Who
are you
are
doing
you?
in the
Why the
house?"
fuck are you here? Get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just like, "No, she's got to come with me, man. Like we got to go. She's got to go." And she's like snapped out of it. She's like,
Yeah.
"No,
No, get
bad.
out." Yeah.
Who
Hot
is this?
water
Why are
burn
you
baby,
here? Yeah.
bad."
Yeah.
And
It's just a kerfuffle. I mean, I don't know what that. It's weird.
yeah.
Like he goes out, like he's trying to like shoo Clint Howard out of the apartment
with a broom.
He's like, come on, get out of here.
Well, first
he, like, pokes him in the belly.
first he clocks him over the head with a lamp, and Clint Howard just turns around and is like, "Why did you do that?"
yeah. I just had to get her out of here. Come on.
But he doesn't even like remotely get knocked out. He's just like, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah.
And then he's got a broom, and he's just trying to shoo him out, and like he gets them to the door, and the door is open, and Clint Howard just closes the door behind him, with
"Nah."
him inside.
Yeah.
He's like, "No."
She has to come with me.
And then something happens where he knocks Clint Howard over. I think he hits him enough times with the broom that he finally falls over. And Clint Howard's response is, "Oh yeah, let me bite your Achilles tendon."
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that for a while.
I just gnaws on his Achilles tendon until he goes
Long
down.
while.
Yeah. And he's
He
just
just
kind
clamped
of
down. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not letting go, terrier style.
Yeah. And he goes
Picks him
down
up,
and
shakes
gets hit with the broom handle a couple more times.
Yeah, and then he starts beating down on the guy.
Right.
And then the guy's like, whatever, and just
Yeah.
kind of collapses in the corner. And that's when Clint Howard finds a knife in the kitchen.
The tiniest kitchen
Yeah.
knife
It's
ever.
just a steak knife.
Yeah. And just is like, "Hey, come on, you got to come out." And she's like not coming out of the bathroom. So he just starts stabbing the door like a madman.
But all the while, like, come on. We
Yeah.
got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. Come on.
Not being crazy about it. He's just like, "Wait, come on, really, we got to go.
Yeah.
Open this door."
Meanwhile, stabbing through the door furiously.
Yeah.
And then looks down, sees the shadow of her foot, so he stabs her in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, hey.
He's like, "That's not cool."
Yeah. By this point, the boyfriend showed back up. And
Well, the boyfriend is like trying to climb up to the sink to find some other sort of knife, and he's like, "No, stay down there. Don't do that."
and he just keeps
and he's
sort of
like
poking
giving
at
him little stabs
Yeah.
in the chest, and the guy's like, all right,
yeah, all right.
stop."
Please stop.
and this is not us exaggerating. That's pretty much how that guy plays it. He's just like, no,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, you
All
can
right.
stop stabbing me.
Don't
You win. Just
stab
stop
me.
poking
Yeah.
things at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. About that time, the phone rings, and she goes darting out of the bathroom, dives across her bed, taking all of the bedclothes with her.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
Until-
nice slide.
Yeah, until it's like bare mattress, and then answers the phone, and it's Janice, and she's like, "Janice, call the police! Call the police! Janice, please call the police!" And then goes diving back for the bathroom, but not before Clint Howard like catches up with her and starts. He's like grabbed. It looks like medical tape,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what you would tape up bandages to, and starts like tying her up with that.
Yeah.
And gets her all like tied up, and
Boyfriend jumps him
boyfriend's
again.
like jumps him again. And about that time, that's when the door opens, or you hear like the
Well,
door opening.
No, not yet.
no,
'cause
boyfriend
Oh,
has
right,
attacked
sorry,
with the
right.
knife, but Clint Howard is able to overpower him,
Right.
get the knife, and all you see is their feet,
Right.
Because she's under the bed watching.
She
and,
immediately runs and hides under the bed. Yeah.
yeah, and you hear chunk chunk stabbing the watermelon sounds,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually you see blood running down the boyfriend's leg, and then he just collapses dead.
Yeah.
That's when you hear the
And
door.
Clint Howard's like, "All right, we
Come
can
on,
go now."
We got to go. I dealt with this problem. We have to leave.
Yeah,
And that's when,
Janice shows up.
yeah. And she's like, "What the hell? I told you to call the police." And it's just immediately Janice is like, "What are you
What
doing?
did you do
Yeah.
to Clint Howard?
Look at what you did here. You've made
It's
a mess."
like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Janice.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
like,
she's
"Just
in
take
a-
her back already. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Just deal with it.
I'll clean this up. And the girl's like, "Wait, what?"
yeah.
So,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Yep.
So-
Janice is listening to the Indigo Girls too, because
Yep.
she basically is like, I'll deal with this. You take her back.
Did you guys? Was that a surprise to you guys at all?
I don't
Eh.
know that I cared enough to like even.
Okay.
I
like-
wouldn't
'Cause
say
she gave it
Janice-
away real hard.
Yeah,
when,
well, Janice is barely in the movie at this point.
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know?
But at the part where
Well, she gave away the picnic location apparently to the boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that could be a clue. Is like
she gave away the picnic location, and she also was like, "Well, that's what you wanted, wasn't it?" When
Right.
she got the job doing
Right.
the story,
She's been
like,
very encouraging of her. You need to blossom
Yeah.
as a woman.
It's like
and-
that's what you.
I guess for
wanted,
half a
that's what you
second I
got,
thought
yeah.
she might be a decent human being in this
Nope.
movie, but
there's none of that.
No, but clearly there are no decent
Not a
human
single
beings in
one.
this movie.
right.
No.
So yeah, but so they toss her into a meat locker, or at least an abattoir or something, because there's like chunks of meat hanging from the ceiling, and it's
Yeah.
like that
It's Mun's
that
meat shop.
Yeah, that horror movie, red walls and
Yeah.
brown floors and just nastiness.
Mhm.
And she wakes up tied to a chair, pretty much close to naked.
Yeah.
And all the witch ladies are there, and they're like, "All right, here, it's time. This is your time."
And either at this point or at some point along the way, Maud Adams has explained that her daughter died. And the reporter girl puts it together. It's like, oh, she was the one who was half on fire and flung herself off the roof. And the whole plot here is that Maud Adams is like, you're going to be my daughter. We're doing this thing, and then you're going to be my daughter. That's how it
Yeah.
works, because
You're going to be my daughter, so when I say you're my daughter, you're going to say you're my daughter, right?
you just call
Yeah.
me your daughter, and I'll be your daughter.
Yeah, so they go through all this, and then Clint Howard's there.
Yep.
They only shoot him from the waist up, but he doesn't have a shirt on, so I think we know what's implied there.
Yeah.
And he's
shirtless.
wearing a giant penis mask
Uh-huh.
with a nose that's like at least a foot long. Yeah. And they're like, and he's like, "Do I have to wear this?" And they're like, "Yes, you have to wear this."
Yep.
And
All the ladies are oiling him up.
yeah, and they're telling her that she has to give birth to herself,
Yep.
and
And then
yeah, and
awful things happen.
Yes. Clint Howard does awful things to her while all the rest of the witch people help because this girl's tied to a chair.
Yes.
And she wakes up the next morning naked on the floor of this nasty, nasty place.
Mhm.
And the butcher comes in and is like, "Huh. All right then." But then his wife comes in and
Well,
is
he
like,
walks in and he goes, "You've been initiated."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what when
Yeah.
the wife comes in and gives her the clothes. That's when he tells her, "You've been initiated."
Right.
And then she's just like, "What the?" Like, still not knowing what the hell's going on.
No,
pretty
but
much.
pretty much right after this, Maud Adams is basically like, okay, your
Yeah,
boyfriend's dead,
You're one
Killed
of us.
him.
You're one of us now.
Yeah.
and you've got the fire burning in you.
Yeah, and she says, "You're one of us. This is what you wanted."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What?"
She's like, well, this is what you wanted when you came. You came into my store. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait, no.
No,
I came
yeah.
in for information. None of this shit.
Yeah. This is very much that like late 80s, early 90s, like, oh, like if a satanic cult, like it's so easy to get caught up in one of those.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
it's like that sort of cautionary tale.
Wrong
level
place,
of-
wrong time,
Yeah,
man.
of stupid thing like, oh, look, you got to be careful of those sorts. You can't mess with the occult at all.
No.
Or this thing will happen to you.
Totally.
This is why you never go to the information desk at a bookstore.
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
talk to
Yeah.
them, that means you want whatever cult they're
Yeah. That's
That's the
selling.
beginning of your initiation. That's
Yes.
you're checking. I have agreed to the terms and conditions of this end user license agreement.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, just use Amazon.
Yep.
And even better, use Amazon through the links on our page.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, wait.
Cha-ching.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's all right. BMFcast.com.
And why you want to do that is because then they go, okay, well, the final step.
Oh, yeah.
You got to cure the
Yeah.
fire in your loins.
Yeah, you have to do this for yourself.
Mhm.
You have to face your fears and do this, and that involves bring us his little brother.
Yeah. That's the only way to quell the burning that's going to set you on fire, literally.
And she's like,
Nah.
she's like, nah, you're fucking crazy, like legit fucking crazy. And they're like, yeah,
We'll see.
well, yeah, you can't cure the burning without it. You're gonna die if you don't. So make it happen.
See ya. Go take care of it.
Yeah.
So she goes to work?
Yeah, she goes to work after that. It's like, well, nothing else to do. Goes to work, shows up in the middle of the Christmas party, and proceeds to just smash drinks in everyone's faces that even remotely addresses her.
Hey, haven't seen you all
Yeah.
smash.
Yeah.
To be fair, nerdy guy who was making the bad jokes earlier
yeah.
was like something like he's basically like calling her a slut
Yeah.
in the middle of the party in so many words, and she's just like he's like goes up for a drink, and she's just like, "Wow!" like drink into the face.
Yeah.
And then Janice, being as subtle as possible, is like, yeah, well, welcome to the club. Now you better bring them the boy.
Yeah.
Smack.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you're holding a drink? Smack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the boss is there, like, in just the worst Christmas tie ever.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, oh, so you've been on the case, huh? You doing stuff? And she's like, drink.
Yep.
And storms out.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But I think doesn't she
Well,
go home? She's like,
she
fuck
goes
this
home.
She's like, fuck this shit. I'm not going to kidnap or kill the boy or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just like sitting there, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, I got.
Well, no, she goes outside and Clint Howard's waiting outside by her car.
Right.
That's right.
And then chases her into a hotel, or is that her
It's,
apartment?
it's the hotel. It's the where she and what's his name
that's
hook
right.
up.
Yeah, it was the
Okay.
Boat Hotel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes in there
That's
and
where
like,
she has her little like, oh, I've got the fire down below.
Yeah,
because
because
Maud
the-
Adams is on the TV. Mm-hmm. You know,
Well, we'll note it shows a lesbian scene on the TV first from some lesbian porn, and then it's Maud Adams, like her face filling the screen, going,
put out the fire.
"Yeah, bring us the child."
The boy.
Yeah.
We have to kill the boy. And just keep saying that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, I'm not going to. And then,
And then starts smoking.
yeah. Not like
From her
she doesn't
loins.
light up like her lower half
Yeah.
starts sparking.
So she runs into the shower and is running the shower on herself while her legs are catching fire.
Right.
Going, no.
And Clint Howard walks in and is just standing there watching her.
Well, yeah. Well, he breaks in through the bathroom and he's just like, and this is like
He came in through the bathroom window.
But this is about as nice as he gets over the course of this movie. He's like, you got to do what they say.
You should do this.
Yeah.
Or that's gonna.
Or you're just
hurt.
gonna burn.
A lot of the fire is gonna happen.
Yeah, it is like the first time he's been like, no, these people are fucking crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
this is not good. Just so
Yeah.
you know.
So
Yeah.
they take the Clint Howard van to the house, and they're all in there having
And
Christmas.
I
sort
appreciate
of.
that she's still kind of drenched
Yes.
from like
Yes.
doing the shower thing.
She is.
Like they went straight there, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna get him. All right,
Clint Howard's
get him.
like, I'll come with you.
Yeah, and he's like got the tape ready. He's like, let's do this.
Well, it's like
He's
when
like, wild card.
when he left that scene.
I've got the tape. I've got the van.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for this.
When he left that scene of tying her up the first time with the medical tape, like his last line in the scene is, "I'm keeping this," and he's just holding the tape, like this is the greatest thing ever. So he brings it up again, like I'm ready, let's do this. And she's like, "No, you stay in the van, you crazy monster."
You had that one moment of niceness, but that's over. You blew it.
And inside, they're having the most awkward Christmas ever.
Oh yeah.
The drunk dad is filming with a video camera.
Yeah, and he's like, open your fucking presents, Billy.
And Billy's like, I want Greg or whoever the guy's name was.
Yeah.
And the mom is like, I think Greg's probably dead. I don't know if he's...
Yeah.
They're acting like he's gone, but they don't know why. Mm-hmm. And it's It's just so everyone's kind of dejected and everything, and then the door rings, and they're like, "Let's go get." The kid's like, "I'm gonna go answer the door," and the dad's yelling at the kid like, "I told you not to answer the door this late at night!" And
the kid's like, "It might be my brother."
Yeah, so he goes and answers the door, and she's there dripping wet, and he's like, "Is my brother in the van?" And she's like, "Yeah."
He's there with candy.
All the way in the back. Go look. It's way back there.
Here, smell this rag, too.
Does this smell like chloroform?
So, kid gets in, shuts the door, and looks around and is like, wait a minute.
He's not here. And meanwhile, Clint Howard's just gone in the house like, all right. Because the mom comes out. She's like, hello. And he's like, Merry Christmas. And like tapes her mouth. And then angry drunk dad's like, fuck you, Merry Christmas.
Yes, but still holding the video camera.
Yep.
And the two get into it, and it keeps cutting back and forth between like
the
actual
video camera footage and the film, the movie footage.
And eventually he gets strangled under their Christmas tree.
Yeah. And somehow the tree bursts into flame at the same time.
Yes. Which, it happens. Yeah. But Lady is just like, whatever, I got the kid, fuck this, I don't want to catch on fire, I'm leaving.
Yeah. And he comes out and he's like, hey, it's my ride.
And this leads to... This is honestly the best bit in the entire movie. So they're driving away, and the kid has gotten in the back to where the sliding door is. And the kid's just like, fuck this, he's not in the van, I'm leaving. And slides the door open, and immediately Clint Howard who's been running alongside the van, just appears and jumps in.
Bursts in.
Full speed, and slams the door like, nah.
Well, grabs the kid and slams the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a reverse Jack in the Box.
Yes. Open the thing.
It's like, bam, Clint Howard.
Clint in the van.
Yeah. Oh, it's well filmed. It's pretty good.
Yep. So cut to them up on the roof. And the kid's all tied down. He's like, what's going on? And
please don't do whatever.
And all the witches are like, you must kill him. You have to do it.
Yeah. So Octopussy hands her the knife.
And she's like, but look at him. He's just a little kid. And they're like, he's a man.
Yeah,
he's got to go.
He's going to grow up to be a bigger man who's a jerk. So do it. And so Maud Adams is gripping her hands holding the knife. And then
she's gonna guide her.
Yeah, it's you have to do it, but I'm gonna force you to do it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Clint Howard's just grabbed a half dozen of the nasty flesh caterpillar.
Oh, they're just
things.
they're just pouring out of that pipe.
Yeah,
now.
he's just molesting
he's just,
them.
carrying around
look at this cool shit. So she's like, okay, time to stab the kid, and then last minute just does the right angle right into Maud Adams' stomach.
Yep.
And then, oh no, chaos time.
And all of the other ladies clutch their stomachs at the same time. That looks like it hurts.
Feel it too. And Clint Howard gets stabbed at some point, and the bugs try to eat him.
Well, what happens is Maud Adams pulls the knife out and is like, okay, I'm going to have to fucking kill you too.
Yeah.
And Clint Howard jumps in the way, and he's like, wait, you don't have to do
She
that.
doesn't even think about it. She's just stab.
Yeah.
Well, and she guts him. She drags the knife up to his chest.
Yeah, and he staggers back into his, tent.
Yeah, he's
and
dead.
then all the worms
are like, sweet.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Totally. Until part 5.
He's dead.
Okie dokie.
Sure.
That'll be explained further in part 5.
Let's hope. We'll never find out.
Maud Adams stands back up and oh, it's only a flesh wound, and is standing there on the edge of the roof, and our lady starts bursting into flames again. Kim, that's her name, right? Yeah.
Yes, Kim.
She starts there was a whole when her whole peyote trip, her hands started becoming a part of the human
twisting together and making some sort of weird
her legs
thing.
fused together mermaid style. It was all kinds of
it's all weird, melty, gooey.
But they started doing that again, and she forms them into one giant screw thing with her fingers, and she starts catching fire, and then she's just haha, it stabs Maud Adams right in the stomach.
Yep.
And apparently flames, it was enough to transfer the flames, because then Maud Adams completely bursts into flames and jumps off the roof.
Yes.
And she runs 25 feet and jumps off the roof.
Well, I think she didn't look down right away, so it was coyote roll, so she actually, and then,
Yeah. and hits the dummy hits the pavement super hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unlike the first dummy that
They just
the first
gently-
person that gently
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
But
lowered onto the ground.
But the other witch ladies all come to the edge and are just kind of staring down at flaming Maud Adams, and
I love that. That's my favorite drink.
it's pretty good. Don't be an octopus, drink it. Yeah. But they're all kind of staring at her, and like Kim's just kind of looking at him like, "Sup?
Yeah.
I did that
I totally murdered her.
later.
Yeah.
Me and little Lonnie or whatever are gonna go home and celebrate our respective. winter
Show him his
solstice
dead
holidays."
parents.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, his parents died.
Yeah.
That's right. There was an actual Christmas death. Clint
Yeah.
Howard went back in and
Yeah,
murdered
yeah.
the parents and killed the dad with a
Yeah,
with
so we
Christmas
did
lights.
have that.
and then the house caught on fire.
Right.
The
So it's-
Christmas tree caught
yeah.
on
It's a
fire.
delightful
So
Christmas
little
story.
little Billy has no
Watch
family
out.
left.
Orphan.
No,
He
nothing.
might get what he's after.
He gets to live with Kim now in her roach-infested apartment.
Lucky her.
But we never know what happens to them because, like, they don't even get off the roof. The movie just
Nope.
immediately goes to credits.
Yep.
The end.
It couldn't do anything worse than it had already done, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Stargrove.
God, no.
Nope.
Soundtrack is barely
Barely there.
anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of generic horror-y.
Yeah, but I mean,
suspensey
it's like they don't even like use it very much. It's almost
There's a
music
lot of
for- it's
the
like very
just
synthy.
plink, plink, plink. You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of that just like, okay. There's a lot of
Yeah.
scenes that are scored with bullshit music when there's nothing going on. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be spooked out here, but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
This is a 4 bags movie.
Okay.
It's not quite 5. The only thing that redeems it is that Clint Howard jumping into the van shot, which I loved for some stupid reason. But it's bad. It's really bad. It's kind of like someone watched Cronenberg but didn't get it, but thought, man, all that gooey stuff's fucking cool. And so it's also a product of like that time where hardware is a lot like this, where it's like using a lot of weird lighting and editing and making it seem like really it feels almost nonsensical, and it feels like they're trying to be artsy, but they don't understand like art has meaning.
Yeah.
So it's all those weird flashy tricks, but none of it means a damn thing. So it's all just bad. It's really bad. It's gooey and unpleasant, and apparently the meaning is that women hate men and men hate women, and
They're all fucked up.
yeah, and the only way to end it is to light someone on fire and throw them off a building.
yeah.
That's
So yeah, 4 bags.
that's where we're headed.
Yeah, 4 bags.
I will echo the 4 bags. Again, it's not just the one scene of Clint Howard jumping in the van. Like I will give them credit for practical effects.
Yeah, that one shot with that bug coming out of her mouth.
I'm just saying there are things. They're not my cup of tea or goo or whatever. But I mean, there are things that are like in gore sense are interesting and well done. Nothing else surrounding it makes any sense. The lady never like comes across as a hero. Like even before bad shit started happening to her, it was like you're not making good choices in anything in life here. Like you're working for the Misogyny Times or whatever, the newspaper, and I mean, when it comes to a horror movie, like you've got to have a purpose or a point, even if it's like vague. But like as you said, there's no point to this. It's like women are treated shitty by the normal people of the world here. Between her workplace and then the dad and everything, it's like women are substandard. But then, what's the answer? Like the other supposedly empowered women are just as terrible. I mean, they're doing terrible things too. So there's
two extreme sides of the
yeah,
same coin.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a single frame of the series. I assume this has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of it. Probably
Zero.
no themes, no nothing. But yeah, it's just bad.
I think it was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
sir.
Jungian thing. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay, all right.
Go on. Expand on that.
No, I was just quoting Full Metal Jacket.
And I
That's
was
all.
helping.
I just wanted to hear more Full Metal Jacket quotes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
Later.
We'll unscrew your head and shit down your neck.
Private Pile.
I didn't know they stack shit that high. Anyway, I didn't know they stack shit this high when watching this movie. So there you go.
Aw.
Bring it back around again.
As kind of grotesque as they and useless as they were in general, I thought that the effects were like well done. Overused, pointless, but they did a good job. I mean, it looked honestly creepy and terrible. And if you can get me creeped out, then you've done a good job with your effects. Because I've, fairly strong constitution when it comes to that stuff. But other than that, and Clint Howard leaping in the van, there wasn't really much to sort of rejoice in this movie. And the sort of being strangled under the Christmas tree thing was a little bit amusing. I mean, just because it's a funny looking death.
It was too little, too late, though. I was like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was expecting Christmas deaths aplenty.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Like somebody getting hit on the head with a rock that's painted up like a Christmas box or something. I don't know, whatever. So I think this one gets a 3 bags from me. Not quite 4. Like, it's not the worst. It just feels really pointless for the most part.
Yeah. Okay, so I watch a lot of this shit every year. Like,
Oh, we know.
like dozens of these things.
YouTube.com/watercooler.
I'm a little more tolerant of something that comes along, and even if it might be bad, which this movie is, at the very least, I didn't know what was happening in it. Like, I mean, I understood what was happening, but I didn't know what was coming next. It wasn't a generic point A to point B to point C thing. And the effects were, they were well done. They were gross. I didn't necessarily want to look at them, but they weren't what I was expecting either. I don't like this movie. I can't recommend it, but I think I can only give it 2 bags because I kind of admire how different it is from everything else. Like, I get, like, Cronenberg is weird and fleshy and squishy and all that shit happens in his movies too, but there's usually some sort of acting and filmmaking that's happening that's pretty good.
Yep.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, all that aside, I love Cronenberg.
Sure.
But, yeah.
But this is just like it's low budget and just gross, and everyone in it is gross, and it's like there's no one. I get themes in horror movies, but you got to give me something to work with. You got to give me someone to latch onto, and the main character, even in her brief moment before she's totally insane by all the shit that's happening to her, has a point. She's still kind of a shitty person about all of it. Like, she's going about it entirely the wrong way. And I'm not mansplaining what she should do. I'm just saying, like, the movie does not present her well at all. Yeah. Start to finish, she is never presented well at all. And so that's a letdown. That kind of doesn't help it. But I can really only give it 2 bags because it's out there.
Yeah, it's always a weird, like, if you don't make your character sympathetic, then at least make them, like, where, I don't know, where you can be empathetic toward them at the very least. Like, well, okay, I get why you're in this situation, and maybe it's not your fault, but, like, there was just, like, this is all, like, poor choices compounded on top of unforeseen, circumstances.
Yeah. And when the character's not questioning the weird, dumb shit that people are saying, like, you came to me, that's why this is happening to you, you need to have the character say, no, I didn't. I walked into your damn store. I didn't ask for this.
I don't know if she was, like, doomed from the moment she ate the date or whatever, but, like, I mean, the lack of reaction to the giant fucking cockroach should have been...
Yeah, she was not that weirded out by it.
It feels like she was doomed the moment she complained to the coworker about all the men in the office.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I would assume that's what the implication is, that, oh, this is what you wanted.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Gross.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
It's humbags.
And no deadly Santas. There you go.
All right, well, let's take a break, shall we?
Please.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I got to change the episode title now.
So anybody got anything for the second half?
I saw 1 movie.
I saw 3 movies.
I saw 4 movies, but I'm only going to talk about 1 movie.
If you really want to go that way, I've seen 6 movies.
Well, if you really want to go that way,
I've seen lots of movies in my life.
name that movie.
No. But no, I do have 3, so I can do the first 2 really quick.
Okay. Humbags.
Nice. good one.
You don't like Bugkake?
I'm glad none of us went ahead and said that either.
My other title.
Yeah?
Yeah. I feel better about it.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and Patreon content and tell us what
Oh, we did. We said it. We said it.
You said it kind of off mic.
Oh,
I was going to say.
Bugkake.
Yeah, we did not say it during the show. I'm glad we all held off on saying
We
that.
said it during the movie
Yes. It's fucking gross.
because she was getting bugs
Yes, and we know.
all over her
Yes,
facial area.
we know.
See, in porn, that's
Yes, we know.
okay. Just saying.
Yes, we know.
And we didn't really say, like, everyone, a lot of people behind the scenes of this movie are former Empire Films people. Some went on to work at Full Moon. But, and Richard Band did the music. So, stuff. Oh, did I go too far? Sorry. Just making jokes. Harlow said it. It wasn't me. I was just repeating what he said during the movie. It was his joke. So send your letters. Care of Harlow.
You talking about me?
No. No.
Are you?
No.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
I think you're talking about me.
No.
I have pretty good hearing.
No, you don't.
I have pretty good hearing. I don't know, man.
Chat, was I talking about Harlow?
What? I think you were.
No.
Did you spit in this?
Is Mackie dipping out on us early?
Is he?
No, I think he just went to poop.
Or I thought he said I have to leave. So
Yeah, Fiber One or something?
Yeah.
You know how that works?
Magnets.
Magic.
Magnets?
Nope.
Space magic.
It's magic.
Magic dust.
Dance. Magic.
MIDI
dance.
chlorians.
Oh, midi-chlorians, of course. How silly of me.
Oh, you're talking about the Force?
Yeah, I'm talking about the force, magnet force, opposing forces of magnets.
Mm.
Mag force?
Mag force. Maglite.
Out and stuff yet, so. Trying to figure out what the flooring they have is.
Space rock.
Oh, Space Rock. Well, all the sets, the bases are different, so you can tell what set they go with.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, chat. We're going to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, we're going to play with toys.
Now, kiss.
Yeah, Nalkies.
So you have not played these in the game yet?
No, I haven't busted out the Force Awakens set yet. You saw me.
You don't want spoilers?
Oh, that's right.
You couldn't buy it before the movie came out.
Well, I don't know.
It came out on the set released on Friday.
Oh.
So that clear Stormtrooper is the new expansion or whatever. You put
Yeah,
that,
that
on.
thingy is you put that on to open up the new thing.
Mm.
Disable the chuck.
No. All right.
There will be spoilers, but we will warn you ahead of time.
Like now.
Well, no, I mean before. We'll talk spoiler free for a moment, and then there will probably be spoilers,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
as we normally do. So
Right.
we will give you a chance that if you want out of, you want to stay spoiler free Star Wars zone, which good on you. Then
Yeah.
Good on you.
If so, how have you avoided seeing it thus far?
Google Chrome plugins.
No, I'm
I-
talking about the movie itself.
Yeah, apparently everyone's seen it,
Yeah.
according to the box office.
Oh,
We're in the box office.
Every person in the world has bought at least one ticket.
is that true?
Yep.
For real?
No.
Oh,
That's Chuck being Chuck. Come on.
yeah, because that would mean, like on average, about $70 billion.
Yeah, it's how much it made.
$10,
Well, a lot of
$10
the
a
world,
ticket.
a lot of the world doesn't have the same ticket prices we do.
Well, that's why I said on average.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like
because New
4
York,
shillings
New York,
and-
it's like $15-$20 to see a movie, especially in 3D and shit. And
That's
then
way
it's
in
more
like,
than
Azerbaijan,
New York.
it's like 79 cents.
Yeah.
Seeing a movie in 3D here is like $18.
That's like $12 here.
No, it's a lot.
No, it's more than that.
If you get IMAX 3D XD,
I've never paid $20 for a ticket here.
inside was $20.
I've never paid $18 for a ticket here.
All right.
Anyway, you understand the word average. I said on average, that would be about $70 billion.
Always fighting with
Yeah.
you, dude.
I'm just saying.
We're all with
Like
you.
big cities, it can cost you like
Yeah, like Canada. They had,
Okay, well, it's
Pretty
probably
much-
not. Inversely, it's not
it
$10
can
a
cost
ticket
you people
in
like $50
Mumbai.
bucks.
Mumbai.
No,
This
it's like
is true.
$60 to take it in Mumbai. But then it's 9 cents in Azerbaijan.
Oh my God!
I know ticket prices for
$35 billion. It's $5 the average price, or $140 billion. $20 is the average price for a movie ticket.
Don't worry, it'll make that.
Going off the $7 billion figure, which is also now out of date too. So.
Well, at least Disney's going to be all right, guys.
Yeah, I think they'll do.
This one's going to pull them out
I
of
think
it.
they'll be all right.
I'm glad. I was
Yeah.
worried for
The
Disney.
mouse session will finally be over.
Yeah.
They have mouses to feed.
What's terrible is Disney stock has actually gone down in the last, it keeps falling.
Oh,
Why?
I have no fucking idea.
Did they not get to change copyright law again?
I don't know.
Support themselves? No? Weird.
Eh?
yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk
So,
about it.
like, does anybody have anything other than Star Wars?
No.
No,
No? Okay.
I watched the original 3 despecialized versions, but I don't
Same here.
feel any need to
Yeah.
add anything.
Same here.
Except for I don't know. All right, fine. It won't be part of the main episode. I'll say it right now. I mostly decided to watch these over again because we were having a Star Wars discussion at work with everyone who saw the movie, and the general consensus was "fuck Return of the Jedi," which I was like,
Why?
Well, I don't know. That's why I was like, I remember like kind of being the least of the original trilogy, you
Which
know?
it is.
It is, but that's like saying.
Well,
That's like having an argument between which is better, like, Goldfinger or Skyfall or any of the other great fucking James Bond movies. It's like, compared to something like Tomorrow Never Dies, it's still fucking brilliant.
yeah, if in rewatching it, my feeling was the second act is very. There's not much motivation to be like. There's not much forward momentum. That second act of that movie just kind of crawls along and doesn't go anywhere for a long time, and nobody's very urgent about anything. Whereas in all the other in the first two, they're urgent about everything. It's like wherever they go, they're like, well, we got to get here, and we got to get here, and we got to get here. And the third one, they're just like, we got to hang out with Ewoks and have dinner for a while, and do and then you get into the third act, and it's like, fuck, forget about all that because this is awesome again. And same with all the Jabba stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I will be honest. I probably hadn't seen the quote unquote untouched version of Return of the Jedi since, VHS days.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just hadn't really watched it. So I was like, number one, it's good to rewatch it. Number two, let me watch the despecialized uncut version. And
Yeah.
man, into that movie is so much better than the
Yes.
special edition. Like,
Yep.
the musical cues, the pacing, everything is so much better. So good.
Yeah, and they don't have Vader going no before killing the Emperor,
Just
which is really fucking
the
stupid.
beats at the end of that movie are so fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
I can be completely spoilery about Return of the Jedi because it's fucking forever. It's
Yeah.
way old. But from the moment, the musical cues and Lando coming out of the exploding Death Star and yeehawing and fucking Yub Jub kicking in and
Yeah.
Yub Dub, and it's like all that shit is so good, so good.
It is.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep. No.
Yeah, and that one is about the only thing that seeing the prequels kind of makes a little bit better is all the Emperor stuff near the end of it. But that's very faint praise for any of the prequel stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't need it before the prequels came
Nope.
out. So,
But I'm just saying, that's about the only thing that feels slightly improved by having the prequels. You know?
what, getting more Emperor? You mean? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Just having more history with the Emperor.
Yeah, they're really building that guy up. Like, man, this guy's a shitbird.
Yeah.
Killed Mace Windu, motherfucker.
I don't know, but it also takes something away because then you're like, oh, yeah, that guy.
So again, just to keep it off the
It's no surprise.
the regular show, the despecialized things, there's still some weird choices. There are some fixes that should have been made to Star Wars that I wouldn't have had a problem with them leaving, things that have been fixed along the way,
Yeah.
that probably should have stayed fixed.
So, I kind of felt that way too, and I looked through all of those comparative shots for all 3 movies because I had nothing to do that day at work. And that came up time and time again. Like, the first...
they fixed Blue Luke. I mean, that stayed fixed in the despecialized editions. Like, Luke is still gone.
Yeah, but they would, like, take certain weird matting, compositing stuff. They would change it back to the original weird matting and compositing. Even though, like, the other ones looked fine. Like, you know, it was like you actually fixed something. And they were like, no, we wanted it, you know, I mean, I understand wanting the whole, we wanted it exactly as it was in the original theatrical version. But, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were just being, like, it feels so dumb for them to go back and be like, well, we made it look worse because that's what we remember it looking like. You know, it's one thing to take out fucking Jedi rocks from Jabba's palace, which is just...
atrocious.
Yeah. Like, the changes they made to Return of the Jedi are far worse than the ones they made to the original Star Wars. Like, they changed things that were incredibly important.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the main shot that was, like, to me, I was like, going back and seeing it again, I was like, this is really dumb and it probably should have stayed changed, is the whatever the fuck the Emperor and Empire is. Like,
oh, yeah.
I don't know if I like, I mean...
Yeah, chimpanzee eyes is a bit weird.
Like, that's still weird, like, especially, like, and now in the universe where we have all of his time and, you know, with the prequels, it feels especially weird, like, who the fuck is this guy and this voice and everything? I mean... I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we almost...
it's a weird trivia
now
thing,
I'm at the point where I want a cut that's like, all right, get the good effects in, but take the other stuff out, you know.
I mean, I get the original theatrical experience, but like at the same time, it's like, you know, like if this guy was allowed to release his versions on DVD, put the Ian McDiarmid reshoot in there and put the monkey eyes Emperor in like as a bonus feature. Like, look at this shit. You know, and then put all the weird little trivia bits about it, about how it's chimpanzee eyes and it's like the special effects guy's wife, the mouth or something like that. Like, I know there's weird trivia about that. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
it's weird.
But
so
anyway, that's all.
And we have one voicemail.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we get there.
That we can probably play before we talk about Star Wars, because it's about Star Wars.
All right.
We'll do it after.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm pulling it up right now.
But yeah, anyone who says fuck Return of the Jedi is... I don't get that.
I think it's probably someone who hasn't seen it and they've just let Ewok hate consume them. Because that's the only thing I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Because, the end of that movie's pretty fucking
like
awesome.
I said,
and
the pacing of that and how much the special edition breaks that pacing is so bad.
Yeah.
I think I'm lucky that I don't remember the special editions very well. I think I only saw them in the theater.
Well, I mean,
and maybe caught a little bit on TV or something.
Well, they changed the song. It's not the Yub Nub song anymore. And then it cuts to all the other locations having celebrations about the ending, like simultaneously. It's like they do. I mean, I guess it's space.
They cut to Naboo.
They could send out a space telegram or whatever, a spellogram. But I mean, it just breaks the pacing. It just goes on and on. It's like, oh look, we're toppling a statue on Coruscant, and
yeah.
And by the time they cut back to them, like Lando having the worst, he's the only black man in the galaxy with the worst rhythm. Like, it's just funny. Like, everyone's clapping a certain way, and he's doing
the hamburger, the motion picture thing.
He's making hamburgers. But no, it's just.
And then they put Hayden Christensen in.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, by the time they cut back to like that shot where everyone's like, yes, it's like, you killed the moment now.
You ruined it.
Yeah, you ruined it.
Ruined.
I don't know. It's just, it's bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Second half time?
Yep. So I'll get my 2 out of the way quick.
Okay.
Give myself a timer.
All right, welcome back.
Hey, second half. BMFcast.
Second half.
Probably the mostly Star Wars half. But first.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mackey's got stuff.
I saw other movies. I'll get them out of the way quick so we can get to the real talk here.
Uh-huh.
To the meat.
Yeah, that. I watched What We Do in the Shadows, which is a fake documentary by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi.
Oh.
Who are dudes that, I guess... Well, Jermaine Clement's mainly known for Flight of the Conchords.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a mockumentary about vampires living in modern-day New Zealand.
Okay.
And it's one of those weird-ass concepts that's like... It had to be so much fun once they thought it up, and then just thinking of dumb situations to put these guys in with these great characters. And it's one of those things that just exists, and it's like, how did this get made? Like how did somebody actually get this funded and made? But it's really funny. Like it's really funny in that, I don't want to say sarcastic way, but just that weird, like the premise itself is so ridiculous that it carries everything else through, and then they've developed all these really weird characters throughout that are just funny in everything they do, and there's good improvised one-liners that show up throughout, and it's just one of those movies that's like I'd recommend it, and I still don't know how the hell it got made, but it actually has good effects in it too, you know. So it's not really a horror movie, but there's like gore and some other stuff in it because, you know, they're vampires,
Right.
but they're really polite vampires who are trying to live in modern society. And
So
there's-
they apologize after biting somebody?
well, kind of like
Sorry.
like the one guy from the 1800s. He's very proper, but he's just like, I really want them to enjoy the whole evening before I kill them. So, you know, he's like trying to, and they and like, it's funny because the people that are like about to be the victims are just so oblivious and all, even though these guys are dressed like 18th century vampire dudes. Yeah. It's what I'm saying isn't doing it justice at all. It's really funny. And it's really stupid, and it's one of those movies that hits the right combination of really stupid and really smart at the same time. So, it's worth watching.
And the name again?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, I saw Ant-Man finally,
Oh.
which that's a Marvel movie. That's a Marvel heist movie, and I'm glad they had Paul Rudd in it. And there are certain sections in there that, like, as soon as they happen, you're like, yeah, that was in the Edgar Wright draft. That had to have been in there. Like that's entirely an Edgar Wright thing. And then there's the other stuff that's just like the generic Marvel-y stuff that you're bound to get throughout. But I liked it. There are probably the most visually interesting sections. There are sections in that movie that are probably the most visually interesting things I've seen this year. So it definitely has that going for it. But and there's also a good why don't we call the Avengers? No, here's why.
Oh, they explained that?
Yeah, that totally makes sense in that movie because that's literally what Paul Rudd says at one point. He's like, why don't we just call the Avengers about this? And he gives a perfectly logical explanation for why they can't call the Avengers.
Good.
So I'm glad they're addressing that part in each of it. But yeah, I mean it's good, and it was one of those ones where it's like there's a lot of great stuff going on early on, and like there's some music cues that are just fucking awesome in that movie, like the way they use certain things when they're planning the heist and all that. But as I realized with Marvel, they hit a certain level for me, and then they just kind of never push past that. Like they hit that level of, you're liking this,
Yeah.
you're gonna keep liking this, and now it's over, and you're kind of like, okay. Like I guess, you know, it's I'm not saying it's the Marvel formula, but it's kind of like they're not giving us anything new anymore, and it feels like they really need to shake things up or something, because it just kind of, even though they have these really great characters in there, they're just not doing anything you're not expecting them to do.
They're playing it safe.
Kind of.
Yeah. Here's a new character. Let's put them in a similar situation.
Kind of,
Do
yes.
stuff that you're familiar
I mean,
with.
this one is probably, and that's what's weird, is this one's probably the most original out of that, but it still ends up feeling like a Marvel movie by the end, and that's kind of frustrating.
I tell you, that's why I really like Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
That thing is totally different than all that other stuff.
No?
Yeah.
Well, I will watch it in the new year.
Okay. And I need to see Ant-Man.
It's
Hey, you two can trade.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
So, I saw something else that's pretty good.
What was that?
I saw Star Wars.
Star what?
The brand new Star Wars,
Oh.
Force Awakens.
Can I touch you?
We've all seen it.
Can we all touch ourselves?
Us, along with everybody else in the country and across the world.
Yes.
At this point,
Yes, everyone.
we're not going to be spoilery yet,
No.
Yet.
and we're giving you fair warning when we're even getting close to that. We're going to be trying to be as vague as possible, but if you are one of those people who somehow has not seen that movie yet, you can stop it now because we will be talking
about it.
Generic stuff.
Yeah.
So, there's your warning.
Yeah, if you still want to remain completely opinion-free and spoiler-free, whatever.
Yeah.
And it is possible. I did it.
Yeah. I made it in only having seen the 2 trailers and only having seen each of them maybe twice.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that, but people are like referencing specific shots in the trailer. I'm like, I don't even remember that, so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't remember that.
So,
Yeah.
new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,000-foot overview. I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. And the more, and it's weird that, like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm liking it, which is like a strange kind of opposite feeling to most movies nowadays.
It is the J.J. Abrams movie for me that gets better when I think back on it, as opposed to every other J.J. Abrams movie that I think gets worse when I think back on it.
Mission Impossible 3.
I don't even remember it. I just remember Philip Seymour Hoffman being awesome in it.
He is.
The whole movie's really good.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that happened in it. So
Okay.
just like kind of like Super 8. I remember being like, yeah, that was pretty good. And now I don't remember anything that happened in that movie anymore.
It's good, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
All right. I'll take your word for it. But like, especially the Star Trek movies, like Star Trek Into Darkness is one of the worst like U-turns my brain has ever done. Like I was like, man, that movie was pretty good. And then we got to the parking lot and we're like,
Hold up.
Yeah.
well,
Wait.
why did he, wait, what, why does that,
Well,
what?
I squarely put the blame on the Transformers
Yeah,
writer guy,
I know.
not J.J. Abrams.
I know. Because this is definitely his most coherent movie, I'm willing to say. At least in my opinion, and I've somehow seen all of them. But I think this one does the best job of telling the story it needs to tell and not having too much, I just go with it, it's a movie stuff that so many of his previous films had for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
DJ,
Yes.
what'd you think?
It's pregnant pause.
Mm-hmm.
We got to keep doing
You
this
know.
in second season.
Do we?
Yes. I could just not talk. That's fine too.
No.
No, I want to hear you.
I asked your opinion.
One of the best things about The Force Awakens for me is that it looks like a Star Wars movie. It looks like an actual movie that was filmed in actual places with actual people and actual thing. All the actual nouns were present during the filming of this movie. And that is one of the best things that they could have done for me for a new Star Wars movie. It looks nothing like the prequels, and it acts nothing like the prequels as well. I don't know if I know how to talk about the rest without going into spoiler
That's fair.
territory.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with you that the look of it goes a very long way to making me enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, it sits above the prequels for me easily.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't. I don't know if it cracks into the originals either, and I don't know if that's nostalgia or not.
Yeah, I don't know where I place this, and I don't even know if I'm going to bother ranking my Star Wars movies at all, because it almost seems like it depends on whichever one that is the last one I watched is the one that's my favorite.
Well, I'm gonna have to see it at least one more time before I can even think about doing that, because
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fair.
Right,
There's
we've
an
seen the
unfair
others
viewing
so many
advantage.
times. Another thing I will say is the characters, and I mean I'm using the prequels as sort of a measuring tape, because that's the last Star Wars that we got before this.
Yep.
But the characters are real people that could exist in an actual universe, and the acting makes them like real people that could actually exist in an actual universe. It's somebody knew how to get actual performances out of people.
Yeah.
And they chose people. They chose actors, I think, who could, with one exception, for me, that I thought could deliver a believable character and fun as well, without being like without being childishly goofy in the bad way.
Well, I think
without being a children's TV show.
yeah, having a director who's like worked in the last, well, let's see, what was it, 22 years between Lucas directing and not directing? Yeah.
Well, and he was never known for working with actors anyway.
Right.
Like,
Right.
all the actors pretty much hated him.
I mean, everyone,
'Cause he-
especially during the prequels, was like, I can't, it's just, he's not saying anything. It's just a green screen, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone was wooden and terrible, because there just wasn't the direction.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and they got great actors, and they got a director who pulled great performances out of them. Because like you watch John Boyega in this movie, and then watch him in Attack the Block, and it is a completely different character.
yeah.
Like everything about him is completely different, but both deliveries are totally believable. So it helps getting people like that in your movie, and it helps that these people are likable immediately.
Right.
Like all the new people, and including BB-8, are just like you instantly like them, or at least I did.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, not in defense of, but along the lines of the prequels. The funny thing is like if you watch the prequels, the people get better. The dialogue doesn't, but the people get better at acting by the third one, probably because they were just doing their own shit. They were just like, I'm figuring out. I went to the theater and saw myself in episode 1. I need to be more Obi-Wan. I need to be more this, and like they probably just directed themselves by the third one. That they was like, what? I got
you
this.
age and mature, you know.
Well, I'm just like they
6
probably
years
came
maybe
to
schedule for that.
And you
See-
probably get used to working with a green screen too.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be tough to give a believable performance when you're talking to a stick, a
Right.
ball on a stick in front of a green screen, and they're like, "Well, actually, you're in a lava pit, and you're running away from this, and he's running with you," and it's like, how do you even do that? And
I
especially
don't know.
when
You have to be a fucking amazing actor to pull that off.
yeah.
Yeah.
But this one, having live sets makes a difference. Having that stuff.
Huge difference.
Yeah, it's going to make a difference in performances, and it makes a difference in the texture. And I think that's the big thing in this one is we're back to the Star Wars world of like most of these ships are beat up and dirty, whereas like everything in the prequels is all shiny and plastic looking, and nothing has that character and that lived
Yeah, it has
feel.
no character. Yeah.
Yeah, that this one brings back, which is what I think the main reason people love the originals.
But the thing is, the Imperial type stuff still has that clean look. Like you don't have to make everything dirty and grungy.
Yeah.
The Imperial stuff still looks like
Well,
like the Death Star looked like in the original trilogy, looked clean and new.
Yeah, it's like the evil Apple store. It's like they got all the brand new shit. It's all shiny. They don't have to work with they're not in the.
They're not scraping together shekels.
They're not
to
going out of the
build an
Goodwill
X-Wing.
and getting a laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Joe's used X-Wing shop, you know.
So, Chuck, do you have a quick overview before we get spoilery?
Sure. Okay, so for the love of God, I like this movie.
Chuck hated it.
God damn it.
Internet hate.
I think out of the four of us, I was the one who was out of Star Wars more than anyone else. Like, that franchise had done more damage to itself over the years I got to a point where I was like, this isn't for me anymore. I don't know what he's doing, but this is not for me anymore. Like, I never saw the special edition of Return of the Jedi. The first two were like, what is he doing? Why are you doing this? This is terrible. Stop it.
So, have you never seen it?
Never. I've seen the end of it and was horrified.
Oh, so you never seen Jedi Rocks?
No, never.
Those things that has never entered. Wow.
No, my brain is.
Can I live in your world for like 5 minutes?
Sure. The rest of the stuff in there is
Man.
weird, but that part's all right. But like, the prequels, I saw the first one in the theater. The second two I didn't see until much, much later because I realized a couple of years after the first prequel that I had convinced myself that I liked it because it was a new Star Wars movie. And it's when I came to terms with the fact that is a bad movie. That is a bad motion picture. It is not good. That I just realized, okay, everything's just kind of more of this, and I don't really care. And I'm grasping at straws in the third one, just latching onto the bits of it that are really pretty good to say, okay, Star Wars might be all right in the future. So all I wanted out of this movie was for it to bring me back into the universe to where I would care again, and it did that. I think absolutely. I am interested to see where this goes. There wasn't anything in it that I thought was embarrassing or pandering or just like. I mean, I know there were in-jokes and cameos and all sorts of things in it that were meant for deep, dark fans and all that stuff. That's fine, but it never felt, okay, come on, guys, you're just jacking off on screen and I don't care. The effects didn't feel that way. None of that felt that way. So I liked it. I enjoyed my time watching it. That being said, I have some nagging problems about that movie. Not enough to ever make me go, that's a bad movie, like Into Darkness really breaks itself the more you think about it.
Yeah.
There are just things about this movie that I wanted either more of or clarification on, or there are... I guess the movie's biggest fault for me is how it's almost a beat-by-beat remake entirely of the first Star Wars. That irritated me because it felt...
I guess we're in spoiler territory now.
Well,
I'm not saying any of the points. I mean, it's just... That's not really a spoiler. It's just... It's following a very similar story structure. Mm-hmm. And
why don't we just declare we're into spoiler territory and then we don't have to tiptoe around these things?
Okay.
I mean,
ladies and gentlemen.
well, I'm just saying, like, I mean,
spoiler time.
let's stop the tiptoeing.
Okay. I mean,
because I would have wanted to know that. I didn't know it was going to go beat for beat to episode 4.
Yeah, but okay,
Star Wars,
you don't know. What I'm saying is that it's so thematically similar to episode 4 that. For me, sitting in a theater, I didn't feel like I was seeing something new and amazing. I felt like it was wrapping me up in a Star Wars blanket and telling me everything's going to be okay.
Which I honestly think that's what the world needed.
I get that. I do.
I think this was like, I think this was the silver foil blanket that comes out after the prequels and says, it's going to be all right. Your world just burned down, but we're going to be all right. You're still okay.
I think that's the way you pull off a sequel people have been waiting 33 years for. Or 32 years.
And I get that. I don't begrudge it that. Yeah. And I don't begrudge the people who wanted that and have accepted it and have embraced it. I'm just saying, for me, there's a sense of wonder that's a bit lost in this movie. There's not a scene that I can say stands out in this movie to where it's like, that's a thing that's going to be talked about, like... You know, the Carbonite scene and the pod racing and, you know, the Duel of the Fates battle and, you know, all of those seminal moments in Star Wars over the years, the Hoth battle, the Death Star run, all of that stuff. It's like, I don't feel like there was a scene in this movie that was like, oh my God, the magic of Star Wars is back, and it is just, I never would have thought of that in a million years.
Are we fully into spoiler territory? Okay.
Go for it.
I will never forget when Rey picks up a fucking lightsaber and lights it up. That's like...
Well, and as we talked about earlier, that was my favorite thing in the movie, but more because of that stormtrooper who was just like not stormtrooper-y and was just like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Right. Well, okay, so
you're talking about Finn.
Yeah, you're talking
about Finn.
Right,
I'm talking about Rey.
I'm still, character names are still...
Because they swerved on us. In the trailer, you see John Boyega, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. If we get, you know, Finn Jedi, this is going to be awesome. But when Rey picks up that lightsaber, well, I mean, we have the lead up to it, but when she finally picks up the lightsaber and fires it up, I was like,
yeah.
Well, that scene is played
Holy
how
shit.
that scene is played how it needs to be played. Like it builds up to it. It's filmed exactly how it should be, and it's scored right. You know, that's why that scene works. There's one earlier that I think is filmed and scored completely wrong.
Which one is that?
The biggest spoiler scene of them all, which is fucking Han Solo dying.
Yep.
Oh yeah, sorry if you didn't want to know anything.
No, we already said spoilery. We well into that.
I know.
But that scene...
Yeah, the music wasn't...
That scene
didn't work.
It's done... It doesn't feel right. And Chuck and I were talking about this earlier. I still feel more for Kirk's dad in the beginning of Star Trek, a guy I barely know and only have known for 5 minutes, than I did in that scene in Force Awakens. Like, it just doesn't work for me. And I'm not sure, you know, I'm not going to be the guy who's like, well, you need to do this and this and this. I don't know how you needed to do it, but I felt like you did it wrong.
There's something kind of missing from it.
But that scene still, like, was very
It's good.
It
Yeah.
really, like, it affected me a lot because I saw it coming.
Well, so you see
Yeah,
the
I think-
catwalk, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
geez, here we go.
I saw him walking out there, and I'm like, oh,
He's Obi-Wan.
No, there's not even like
That was my first. I saw that catwalk and him walking out. I was like, okay, here's the Obi-Wan thing. They
Yep.
got to motivate the other characters. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the things that are good about the scene is I think it's absolutely brilliant that they're using the Star Killer thing that's sucking out the sun, and the last bits of the sun go out, and it goes completely dark. Like, dark side takes over, and then all you get is lit up with red.
Yep.
yeah.
That is bad. That is boss filmmaking right there.
Yeah. Yes.
The music wasn't so hot, but like it still affected me because because of what happens. It's hard. It's hard as somebody who is invested in whatever way you want to call me invested in that.
I
to
just
see
feel,
that happen
yeah.
and for I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like there's hope that it could go a different way, and it still is a bit heart crushing. That's like, oh, there's good in
Like, I think I need to see it again because, like, I mean, that's a big enough scene that I feel like I had internal thoughts going on where I can't completely. I probably wasn't completely paying 100% attention to it. If that makes any sense, because like it's coming,
Right.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the
You're
theater.
bracing for it, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, please don't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I think the touching the face thing is the best touch in that
yeah.
because it feels like it negates the decision that Ren has just made. Like it almost like he's sure of it, and then he does that, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part of it.
It makes him rethink.
Yeah.
well,
what
I
he's
think
done,
his little speech was sincere. I don't think it was like a ploy to lure him in. I think he was starting to break down and was kind of like, help me. But yeah, like you said, it goes completely dark, and that's dark side takes over, and it's like,
Yeah, and of
fuck you,
course,
Dad.
it's easy to think in your brain, well, he's our bad guy, so he needs to be in 2 more movies.
Right.
Because thankfully they're not doing the prequel thing of just, hey, here's
honestly-
your bad guy, let's kill him off.
Honestly, I thought that might be happening at
I
a certain
thought-
point.
I thought
And I was
so,
like,
too.
don't do this. No.
Yeah. And okay, so the thing that I liked most about the movie, and I'm surprised to say this, is that character.
Really?
Really, Kylo Ren?
Yes, because it is so interesting to me that they have made the main bad guy this not cool, collected, is on point. He's not Darth Vader at all. He's a wannabe, like, just
He's somebody who knows what it's like to be Darth Vader from Legend alone, and just thinks that being Darth Vader is just flipping out.
yeah. He's
and
he's
wrecking
he's like a
things, yeah.
spoiled rich kid.
Yeah.
Who's like
He's got affluenza.
Yes, exactly. I just thought that was that was so fascinating to me. This character who is just not with it, like doesn't have his shit under control at all, and that the whole triumvirate of the leaders of this thing were so interesting to me because they were all so different and no one seemed to be on the same page about anything.
Yeah.
And what I really don't understand and what I really wanted more of was like, how you've got kind of this weird ragtag group of giant Harry Potter villain thing as the main bad, and temperamental teenager who's just super pissed off at his parents and everything, and then a bunch of neo-Nazis running all the day-to-day operations.
Yeah, you got Ginger Ricky Hitler.
Yeah, but then this thing is so well funded, like 100 times more well funded than the actual Empire. I mean, their shit is like brand new and slick, and but no one seems to know how to run it. Like, they're all just kind of doing their own thing.
It's like a tech startup.
Kind of. Like, that one scene where shit was going wrong for them, and the one dude was like, I'm leaving. Like, the commander dude was like, fuck this. And everyone's like, hey, Earl, what are you doing? That whole, like, lack of cohesion amongst whatever this thing is fascinating to me. I wanted more of that. I want to know what has happened to this universe to allow that to happen.
I think we're going to find that out in the next movie for
I
sure.
hope so.
And that, speaking to that is what I think this movie's flaw is that because, like, the first Star Wars episode 4, even though it had more story to tell, told a story start to finish. It was done. It was like you could wonder like what's next, but like there was a thing and it ended and everyone got their medals and that was it. This one,
Not everyone.
no, I know, but
Hashtag.
fair enough.
Not all Wookiees.
Wookiee lives matter.
But this one is very much like the first part of a new trilogy or whatnot, and it's like
You're correct.
It's hard to judge this story for what it is because it's only a third of a story.
Yeah.
So I was super frustrated. Like, I needed an episode 6.5 to explain all of this shit. Like, why is the universe like this? But then I realized, okay,
That's
we're
in
only
the books.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm saying that
the movies have to do that. Someone has to have a scene of conversation where it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, there's. I was a bit confused about, and I hate even saying this, but the politics of the galaxy after everything the fucking prequels did, where it was like all politics. Like, you got the Republic, you have the Resistance, and you have the First Order, and I don't quite understand why the Resistance basically seems like, oh, we got no money, we don't know how to do anything, and I understand wanting to make your good guys the ragtag group again,
Right.
Even though the bad guys are the ones who are kind of like fighting the man at this point.
Because there was that one line of dialogue when that dude is giving his raging, spitting speech in front of everything, where he's just like, "The sins of the Republic, how dare you?" And it's like, well, what did they do?
I have a possibly working theory on that.
All right.
I think the world would have rejected if like the Republic was in charge more or less, and this new order was basically terrorists. Like I think people would have been like, nah, not my Star Wars. Fuck this. So I think honestly they just worked with it to be like, nah, we can't. It can't be this. We can't have more of this in our fucking fantasy shit.
Yeah. I liked how disorganized the first wave or whatever it's called.
First Order.
Yeah. I like that aspect to it, but it just doesn't counter with the fact that they just seem to have all the credits. You know, like everything they need. You know, it's like, you remember that Death Star? We just made one 1,000 times bigger. It's a whole fucking planet. It eats suns and shoots laser beams out of the center of it. Ain't that dope?
Which, by the way,
They should have said stars, right?
huh?
They
Well,
said it eats
It
the
gets his
sun.
power.
Yeah.
All right, so that whole thing is a joke or a reference to in the original script. Luke Skywalker was Dirk Starkiller.
Yeah.
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 So that's why that thing was called that.
Right.
But J.J. Abrams needs to stop blowing up whole fucking planets and then having people be like, eh.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's got to stop. Like,
Yeah.
fucking Planet Vulcan, and then it's like, we just blew up what appeared to be Coruscant,
Yeah.
which probably has 200 billion people on it based on how dense that fucking planet is.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is one giant city. And then everyone's just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Looked like there was. Well, I don't know. We didn't really get to see much of the exterior of that planet.
I know.
I just want to say one thing about Kylo Ren real quick before we stop talking about Kylo Ren. I thought he was best with the mask on. I wasn't really. That's one of my small complaints is I wasn't really feeling Adam Driver in his emoting. I didn't feel it like, and I didn't feel like his vocalization of his feelings was nuanced at all. It felt very flat to me. Just his face and his voice were both. I just didn't really feel anything there.
I kind of liked it. I liked the scene where he takes the mask off. Because, like, having not looked up anything about the movie, I didn't even look at the cast list on IMDb.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily I was like, oh, good, Luke Skywalker's not the bad guy.
Right.
So, you know, that was the good part of it. But the scene where he takes the mask off, I was expecting some, you know, like you're expecting him to be horribly scarred or something.
I
crazy
like his
that.
look.
Yeah, and I like that he took it off, and then he was just like, nah, I'm just a dude, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to get what I want. Like,
It's one of the weird things this movie does is how it presents a lot of things so matter of fact. Like when he does just take the mask off, it's like, see, I'm a dude. You know, the way that weird moment happens in the middle of the movie where it's just like, hey, Kylo Ren, you know that Han Solo's your dad. I'm telling the audience, even though you already know this, but you know that reveal was like, oh,
yeah, that was strange.
Yeah.
It felt like that should be a bigger deal.
yeah. It really just sort of was like a line of dialogue. And you're like, oh, okay, well that's all right. That's a weird reveal.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, BJ, especially like in the one scene where he's got to do the hold the hand out and scan her brain thing.
Yeah,
She's gotta
he's
do
just
it.
standing there.
I
like,
can't imagine
"Sup,
filming
dude?"
that scene. Filming that scene had to just feel like the dumbest thing.
Yeah, but Daisy
ever.
Ridley was doing a better job
Yeah.
of, my brain is being poked.
Right. He could at least. I mean, I know. I guess he's young-ish, but he could still at least furrow his brow a bit and look like he's maybe trying to crunch down on a
An
not a
invisible
particularly
lozenge.
tough nut to crack.
I'll just say, I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one here, but has anyone ever actually watched Girls? Like the only other thing he's pretty much known for?
Nope.
Okay. I've at least watched some of it, and he was the thing I was fucking terrified about because I do not like him on that show at all. Like he is like 10 times more deadpan and non-emoting on that show. Like, but that's his character.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was terrified about him being in the cast.
Well, at least he's not bad. I mean,
No.
I don't think he's bad.
He's not Hayden Christensen.
No. He's not quite the entire other end of the spectrum, but he's,
Yeah.
he is a bit of yin and yang to that.
I mean, there's
'cause
really
he's-
no one in the movie aside from, I hate to say, Carrie Fisher, who is just like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. And they just didn't give Carrie Fisher anything to do,
Yeah.
No.
which is ridiculous. Because she's a fucking
She's a
Jedi.
Yeah, she's a Skywalker.
She's got
That's
Jedi in her.
That's another weird thing is maybe
No,
we'll
they
find...
stopped before that happened.
What? Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get to explore any of that at all, or if
Have
they're
to.
just or they're just going to say, nah, she's
I mean, I can't imagine they're
she's
just going to have her,
Force-sensitive, but
be
she
a-
never wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, like
Yeah.
to just have her have Jedi power, whatever, only for the fact of breeding some Jedi is terrible. That just seems like the worst possible thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, we know she has. We've seen her not necessarily use powers before, use active powers, but passive powers before.
yeah, she talked to Luke.
Yeah.
She
And now-
sensed Luke.
And now, now she sensed her husband's
Yeah.
death.
Or they're just setting you up for a Yoda in episode 2 thing.
Yeah, where Carrie
Just
Fisher
CG Carrie
flips
Fisher
her-
starts
Yeah.
flipping around.
Exactly.
If she pulls out like a
Yeah.
pink lightsaber and starts flipping around like a fucking goddamn crazy
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
Crazy ball.
No, purple
Super
lightsaber.
Bowl.
She's gonna have a purple lightsaber because she's going to be as badass as Mace Windu.
Yep.
Yeah, she has Mace Windu's
Rainbow
Mm-hmm.
lightsaber.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's that little bug-eyed lady just has been collecting all the lost
Yeah.
lightsabers.
Yes, all the lightsabers.
How did she find that fucking thing?
She
because
doesn't
it
have
got-
time to tell us that
because
story.
it got dropped in Cloud City with
Yeah.
Luke's hand. So
Yeah, it's somewhere
Right.
outside.
the
It could've
story
gone
she doesn't have
That's how you
time to
bring
talk
back
about is
Lando.
Lando is going to come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did appreciate the fact that, especially towards the end during the whole planning thing, that they just popped some characters in there and didn't make a big deal about it. Like, there's Admiral Akbar, and there's
Oh yeah.
the embarrassing Asian caricature.
no,
and-
Yeah.
yeah, and
Wait,
you know,
you think he's Asian? No, no. The Neimoidian fuckers were
Yeah.
Asian. That guy was just badass.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
And, you know, Miles from Lost is in there for
Yeah.
no reason. It seemed like it seemed like that scene
And-
was like everyone calling J.J. Abrams like, "You're making the new Star Wars movie. Can
I
I,
know.
be in it?"
Well,
I didn't want anything to do with George's bullshit,
he
but I want to be back.
Grunberg.
Oh, I-
but-
of course he did.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's the new Porkins.
But you know, did you read about the rumor about the stormtrooper in
Oh, it was Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, yeah,
the one that drops the gun? Yeah,
yeah.
Which
I don't
is
know
crazy.
I don't know if it's true.
It's been.
I
I
think
think it's
it
close
is.
to
Yeah,
confirmed as possible.
because I think
Yeah.
they said
I thought basically only Simon Pegg was the only one confirming this.
No, I think they've. I think
There
I
have
read
been
something the
plenty
other
of
day.
articles about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of people whose faces we never get to see, one of my other disappointments was Captain Phasma. I really hope there's a whole lot more Captain Phasma shit in
There has
episode
to be.
8, because there's like you get a big ass stormtrooper in chrome ass armor, special gun. I need something more than to have a gun held to her head and said, "Hey, or turn off the shields."
Yeah, that seemed like a waste of her.
Yeah.
It was like, she's an imposing person. Why are you not doing more with her?
Yeah.
And I was waiting for an explanation besides the little pandering piece of dialogue that said, "Oh yeah, we've had much better luck than using a clone army." It's like, well, no, you haven't, because that one ran away. You know, you haven't.
Well, that one ran away. You forget about the 8 million that went just slap stupid because they had shitty genes.
Well,
from
sure.
the clone
Yeah,
army.
well, at least they learned how to shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Stormtroopers
are.
were pretty good at shooting in this
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
They were intimidating and effective. I think I honestly think like Captain Phasma will have rescued Kylo Ren from the surface and
Sure.
yeah.
Maybe, but like,
So-
I guess the only thing, like, one more thing, it didn't bother me about the whole not having a clone army thing, but it just seemed like for someone who was raised to be a stormtrooper from a super young age, stolen from parents or whatever, Finn had a lot of personality.
Yeah.
a lot of personality, and on the surface that's not necessarily a bad thing because it really made the movie entertaining, but it just seemed like, do other stormtroopers have this kind of zany, like, almost stand-up comedy zingers? I just give me a shot, just let me take my helmet off and I'm gonna be funny man. Are they entertaining in the canteen, when they're not shooting stuff? What's going on?
I mean, there's the scene where Kylo Ren is freaking the fuck out and the two just kind of look at each other and are like, nah, we're not going that way.
Yes.
I mean, the stormtroopers seem to have a little bit more personality.
That's true.
So,
yeah, they did.
okay, clone troopers are all cloned. Stormtroopers are just
probably
dudes.
a mix, I guess.
Just dudes, yeah.
I'm saying, like, in the original trilogy, I guess they were maybe some leftover clones.
They were being phased out,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
Okay.
Like, the people who know the expanded universe have told me they were being phased
They were
out.
being Captain Phasement out.
Yeah.
I did like, though, when towards the end when Rey hugged him, and you could just see that this was a character who had never really been touched before, and it wasn't like oh my god, I love her. It was just like, oh, a hug. This is the best thing ever.
Yeah. Somebody's being nice to me.
Yeah, it was just this moment of joy, like, oh, this is what human contact is like, and this is the best.
Well, do we begin to speculate on his parentage? I mean,
Speculate on everyone's parentage.
well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, it seems like that's a thing in this one of, like, everyone's related to somebody somehow, and people were like, well, obviously he's Lando's kid. I'm like,
I would
Well,
hope not.
Jesus.
no, because that's dumb. I mean, that's really dumb. I mean, if anyone, he's fucking Mace Windu's grandkid or something. Because, like, I think he should have some sort of force power because he turned off the stormtrooper programming so fast that I think he's got to be rocking a little force too. And also, why did he know how to use a lightsaber at all? I mean, maybe they established it because the guy had the vibro shock.
yeah, they've been trained in hand-to-hand combat.
stuff, but yeah.
That's what it looked like. I mean, the stormtroopers are supposed to be warriors.
Sure.
So they're supposed to be trained in combat. So that's why I figured he knows how to use some sort of, like, he looked at it, he's like, oh, there's a button I press. Okay, press that button.
Right.
All right. Oh, God, there's a laser weapon. What the fuck do I do with it? Okay, I just swing it like a sword. All right. And if you notice, like, he wasn't exactly great at combat. Both of the times he's in lightsaber combat, he gets his ass handed to him.
Sure.
So he's not that good with it. Rey, obviously,
Sure.
the force is strong with her. So
And she'd fought with a stick before.
and she'd fought with a stick before.
Yeah, she knew what was
So-
up.
Or a staff.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I am so excited to, like, I'm so excited for Rey's character, like Rey and Finn, but mostly Rey. I think she's just, like, I think it's awesome that we get to see a leading lady Jedi. It's
Well, I mean, aside from that, it's two dynamic,
good
new
good
characters
Yeah.
who are.
It's not a shitty, like, okay, she's just a, she's just a lady and she's great. She's a character.
Yeah.
I like bickery right
Yes.
off the bat either.
Yes.
Like, they get along pretty quickly.
And I like stuff like he grabs her hand and tries to tug her through, and she's like, "Stop holding let go of me. I can run."
You know what? I'm glad a character in a movie has finally said that,
Yeah.
because that has always driven me absolutely insane. Any movie where somebody runs and is grabbing someone's hand, I hate it.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
just
run when you're holding
hate
hands
it.
with
Right.
somebody.
No,
It sucks.
I
I
hate
mean,
it.
unless it's a kid. I don't mind dragging a kid by
Sure,
the hand.
Well, sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, because
You
they're
should just grab a kid
dumb
by
and
the
they
shirt.
don't know
But
what
like,
to do.
he had been on this planet for 42 seconds. Like, he wasn't going to lead around anybody to anywhere. She was the one who knew what was up and
Right.
where to go. So why he thought, like, I'm going to take you to the thing?
He's just like, get away from this.
Yeah.
And she's, no, you're stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited to see what Rey's lightsaber is.
At least we don't have to, wait too long.
Yeah, and there's
it's
going to
only
be
a
other
year and a
stuff
half
in the
now.
interim.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, that's such
comes
a
out next
bad
year.
Subtitle. Drop that shit.
Yep.
Wait,
It's-
that's what they have.
Yes,
a subtitle?
that is the official name of it. Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Just call it Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah.
That has such a good cast.
It does.
I
It's
haven't
fucking
looked.
crazy.
That's really good.
La, 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 la.
Yeah.
It's
but
a good cast.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't know
you can
when
come
it's
back
set, when it's supposed to take place, but it's just.
I know what it's about.
to it. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It feels good to watch a Star Wars movie and not think, "Oh man, I hope the next one fixes this." You know, I mean, there's a little bit of that where it's like I do hate the feeling of like, oh, they didn't explain that because they'll explain it in the next one. You know, and I remember making those sorts of assumptions after episode 1, going, "Man, that kind of sucked," but they'll
fix it.
figure it out in episode
Well,
2.
okay, so hashtag real talk here. I mean, Lucas had no fucking idea he was going to make any more Star Wars besides Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was no way.
Right.
That's like saying, everyone they knew where they were going and lost. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he kind
yeah,
of had an idea,
They might-
like he probably had well, if anything happens, then yeah, let's do this. But when he made that, there was like,
That was the end of it.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was the end of the show.
yeah, if I'm only getting one shot at this is what I'm
So,
making.
I mean, I'm not defending. Maybe they did dangle too many threads in this one, but think about Empire. If you'd seen that in 1980 brand new, and he goes, that boy's our last hope. No, there's another, and you sit there for 3 years going, who the fuck's the other? What the fuck is the other? I don't,
Yeah.
what?
Well, you get hit with the whole "I'm your father," and you're
Right.
like, "Wait, what? Really? No!" And then it just like doesn't explain any of that. Then he still tries to kill him anyway. It's like, and then
Well, and
that
he-
last
well-
shot of just like hopelessness of
Not
just
only
like,
that, but he's also like, you get the seed of like, Vader kind of wants to overthrow the Emperor.
yeah,
So you get all that, like, bam, bam, bam. Just like, what?
yeah, And,
So-
and
then
everyone's still like,
then
Empire's dope. That's the best thing ever. And it doesn't finish its story for shit. So,
So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dangling threads are a long-standing staple.
yeah. And speaking of dangling threads, the end of this movie.
I don't
Dangles
It's super dangly.
it dangles an object, not
Dangle-
necessarily a
dangle-
threat. but
dangly.
I don't like that last shot at all.
It's bad.
The last
The very the helicopter swirling around the thing shot.
Swoop to credits is
I don't like it
bad.
at all.
No.
It is awkward, and it's like, oh, it like sucks the wind out of what you think how it's going to end.
It honestly feels like it's a scene that they meant to have in episode 8, but they realized we don't have Luke Skywalker in this movie. We have to get Luke Skywalker in this movie. And it feels like a thing that got tacked on at the end.
Yeah.
And that's not how
like
the
a
end of
post-credit sequence.
Like, that's not how a fucking Star Wars movie should end.
No. You end definitively one way or another.
Well, they should have finished when they were in the hospital, and she was like, "I'll see you later, Finn."
Yeah, I get it.
I think I would have been okay if they had if she had handed the lightsaber out and they had just cut right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
would've
and
worked better.
done.
But that shot in motion and then doing the circle wipe directed by J.J. Abrams is terrible.
Yeah.
It feels like some sort of temp avid shot. Like, I mean, obviously it's not avid at this point. It's Final Cut or whatever. But still, it just felt like we don't have anything better yet to put there. Just that's where we'll come back and fix it later.
Well,
If anything feels rushed.
the
That's
only
it.
thing I'll say in favor of the actually showing Skywalker in this one is now you've got people analyzing the look, and it's like the recognition of, is it the lightsaber, is it her?
Right.
There's a shock on his face. It's like, why are you back? He always has that "why are you back here" look. Like she's been there before.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of speculation in that one look.
It's a powerful way to end the movie.
Sure.
But that sweeping circular shot is dumb and breaks them looking at each other.
Yeah. I think the point beyond the lightsaber coming out is like everything up until that for that scene is acceptable, and then we'd just forget that the helicopter.
It should have ended on his face, and then the thing should have been like, well, what is that expression trying to convey?
Right.
The last shot doesn't give you either person's face. It's just a far away swooping thing, and it's like, you do that before, not there. It's just, it's awkward and
Yeah.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels weird with that because, there's no dialogue or anything. And it feels like they did all the no dialogue stuff so much better in the first half hour of the movie when it's all Rey scavenging and just like, taking the stuff in, going back to her little home and making her little bread thing that looked awesome.
That was the best thing in the
Instabread.
movie.
Yeah.
That was the coolest bit.
Like all like the stuff where it's almost just score and just visuals. Like that was probably my favorite stuff in the movie. And it feels like they nailed all that and then didn't nail the last shot of the movie. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Go home strong.
And I also don't like that they blew up the damn thing. Like, because that X-Wing stuff at the end of the movie, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, I was having trouble caring about any of that. Lightsaber fight was fucking badass, and that's probably why, is I was like, get back to that. I don't care about Poe and his team, because I don't even know any of them, and I don't even know how many ships they had. And, it's like, you watch Star Wars, and, like, everything is funneled toward, all right, we got to take this thing down, we got to do this. And this one felt like them in episode 1 taking down that big thing. And it's like, I don't even care. Like, I don't know. I don't care. I know why you're blowing this thing up, but I don't care about it. Like it's an afterthought.
The movie didn't care that much about it either. It's kind of like, hey, we got some guys. We got to just do the thing we do, which is like blow up the big thing, right?
They even said that.
We're gonna. Yeah, they pretty said like we're gonna just blow up the big thing again.
That's what we do,
Let's
right?
do this. We know how to.
Yeah.
We take the shields out. We hit the thing, and then we blow it up, and we go home and have a party. And they're like, okay, we'll just use some incidentals to get between the rest of the action, and
and it also it kind of does the stupid thing that Marvel's fallen into. It's like, all right, how do you escalate from here? You blew up a planet gun in this one. What do you blow up in the next? What do you blow it? You probably don't blow anything up in episode 8, but you got to blow up something big in episode 9. What's it going to be? And it's
I'm moving to Planet Gun, by the way. It sounds like fun.
It's going to be 2 planet guns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Twin planet guns.
2 guns.
it'll be a twin star.
Denzel and
Yes,
Mark Wahlberg.
yes,
right?
put them in it.
Yeah.
Still bickering.
I know you say you don't care about the ship battle, but that's where the Star Wars audience is almost divided in half. There are half the people that couldn't give 2 shits about the lightsaber battles and are all about the ship battles.
I can't even imagine not giving a shit about that, because those are all the people you care about
Yeah.
But I'm
in
saying-
one place.
Some people are there for the ships and the space battle-y shit.
But there was more uncertainty in the lightsaber battle, like how is this going to end up, than the blow up the thing, because they're going to blow up the thing. I also didn't.
I almost wish that attack had failed.
It should have. It really should have. They didn't.
It didn't seem like they had that tough time with it.
No, and it seemed like they only had like 6 X-wings.
Yeah.
And it was just like, keep shooting at it.
Yeah, and maybe that's why the pacing of, going back to Return of the Jedi and Star Wars, like when they're like, it feels like, oh man, it's almost like the whole wrestling thing where it's like, oh man, they're getting their asses kicked. Oh man, they just barely pulled it out at the end. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hardship for them.
Yeah.
So they John and Cena did it.
Yeah.
Cena did, yeah.
I mean, Porkins 2 didn't even die. So
we got to keep Greg Grunberg alive for a while.
Yeah. He's got to be in all 3 because
okay.
he could be Porkins' brother. He could be like, who was that, Carmine in Gears of War, where they just kept killing off his brother. Like they killed off the first Carmine, then the second one is like, I had a brother named Carmine. We killed him too. Until they eventually had a poll. They're like, should we kill Carmine in the third one? Everyone's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you should. So maybe there's all
What is
Porkins
this?
2, Porkins 3,
War.
Porkins 4.
Yeah. I did like, I was impressed by some of the visuals, like in terms of like the ship flying and stuff, like the shot of the sun with the TIE fighters behind. I thought that was cool. I wish they'd done that I wish they'd stayed with one shot a little longer when the X-Wings first show up, when Han and Chewie and everybody been taken prisoner, and they look over and it's like, oh, and you see them, but it's like super quick cut to a close-up of, oh, that's what they are. I wish it had kind of stayed longer of what's coming.
Oh, the over the water?
Yes.
Yeah, that was badass. Like, okay, so again, I'm not a defender of the prequels, but like Lucas stealing shots from like the Kurosawa movies needed to stay. Like that should have been one of those shots where it's just like, what the fuck is that off in the distance?
Yeah.
Like, as dumb as it
You
is,
just let it-
like the battle droids
let 'em
coming
come
out of
in.
the, or the Gungans and the battle droids coming out of the fog is a good shot.
Yeah.
Granted, it's completely stolen, but they need to do something like that.
Yeah, and this movie revealed it too
It was
quick.
actually homage.
Yeah.
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 But I don't mind that it recycles so much from episode 4. I don't, because it has new characters doing that in a new situation, but it does kind of lose the focus that you had in the original, like, and you lose that freshness that would have been there. So I totally get what you're saying, Chuck, that you were wanting it to surprise you somehow, and it
A
just
little, yeah.
never does.
No. I mean, character moments did, but like story-wise, it just beat for beat just felt like, okay, I've seen this.
So there's all kinds of the little touches of like, he pulls out the training droid, he turns on the 3D chess thing and the
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon and stuff, and like I think like one more shot would have been like, all right, you're kind of like going the fill in the blank.
So close.
You're going
Yeah,
the fill in the blank
you're
movie thing
Mad-Libsing it.
where like, it's like you're not even like, now you're just like, you remember this, guys? It's not even a joke or a reference, just remember this?
Yeah.
Like I think it was like they were writing that fine line of
They got
nostalgia.
super close when Han Solo was like, do you have a trash compactor? And it was just like, okay.
Yeah. But I
All
will say,
right.
out of all that, like I don't care. I mean, like at first I was like, "That's Admiral Akbar, isn't it?" And then they spoke, and I was like, "I'm pretty sure that's Admiral
It
Akbar."
is. It was that guy's voice.
Well, they brought back the guy. Like it was It took 4 people to make 2 characters. They brought back the people inside the suits and the voices of those 2 characters
Yep.
from Return of the Jedi. But of all of the nostalgia things, the thing that got me where I like literally almost teared up was when Princess Leia hugged Chewbacca. Something about that little like 5'2" woman hugging that giant Wookiee,
Yeah.
and just the way she did it, I was
Yeah.
like that was it. I can't explain it. Just like that moment, I was like, oh my god, like there's just a way that looks.
Yeah. I don't understand why there's a map to Luke Skywalker. I don't understand why R2-D2 is just like, nah. And then just all of a sudden like, yeah, okay.
That's the only J.J. Abrams thing in the movie.
Where it's just like, we need
Where it's
this
like,
later.
Yeah, like, why did this happen? Because it's a movie?
Right.
And it had to happen then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff was just like, if he wanted to leave, why would there be a map to it? Like, who would know? Why is that a thing? And
Yeah.
why...
And I also spent the time wondering who Max von Sydow, if he was supposed to be a character that we knew already.
They made it
Which-
sound like he was.
He's not.
No.
But he's a character who's like follows like it's what would be a Church of the Jedi. So like they don't have force powers, but they worship the tenets of the Jedi or whatever. So it makes sense that he would have this thing that says this is how you get to Luke Skywalker.
Sure.
Because he probably trusted him with that. But you don't know any of that. You just know that he's Max von Sydow, and now he's dead. So it's everyone's
Yeah.
like, man, Max von Sydow, they got him in a Star Wars movie. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you got a cameo out of him,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked badass.
He did.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I thought the whole point of them setting up R2-D2 to be in low power mode was for when Luke would get close, R2 would wake up. I thought that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. It was just R2 deciding to wake up and be like, hey guys, check this out. I've got
Maybe
the
it was-
information you needed the whole time.
Okay, so wild ass speculation that there's some things that some situations that need to be met. They knew about this giant. Did they know about the Star Killer before? We don't know.
not until it
No,
shot.
yeah,
Not until it blew up 5 planets.
Yeah, and they were
nobody
like,
gave a
oh,
shit.
they got a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it needed Ray.
Yeah.
I think Ray woke it up.
Maybe Ray's the
Woke up
key.
R2.
Or maybe R2 thought a Skywalker was around.
It's also weird. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, this just seems like a dumb plot point. Like, there's deactivated
Technically,
R2-D2.
there was a Skywalker right around the corner and had been leading the place for a while. So
Yeah.
if that were the stipulation, you'd think, Leia would probably
Yeah.
set that off a long time
But
ago.
just the way C-3PO explained it was just like he's pouting, basically. It's just like, really? That's dumb.
R2 could be a bitch in the original
I guess
trilogy
he lost
too.
his booster rockets and he was all
Yeah.
upset about that. And also the one thing that sort of bothered me was C-3PO saying basically like, women, am I right? To Han Solo when he was just like, princesses. It's just like, that's odd for him to say. What experience do you have?
that could have been a throwback, just a throwback to
I
the
know.
original. It's like,
But it just seemed,
know.
turning to Han Solo to be like, princesses, huh? It's like, really? When did you get that chip put in of modern day internet commentator? Women, am I right, huh?
No, see, it's okay for him to say that because he's gay.
Oh. Is that what the red arm was?
you got one red arm,
C-3PO.
one red arm, and you're gay. Is that
You missed it, Chuck.
is that the signal? It's like the bandana in the pocket.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah.
Like the earring in which ear?
He was,
So-
he was born in the USA.
So is that like set up for one of the side stories? Like they're going to explain why the hell he has a red arm?
I think it's more like we don't give a fuck, and it's just like he's like, "Oh, I'm so important. Look at me. You probably didn't recognize me because of the red arm." It's like, no, we just didn't give a shit about you, C-3PO, like we ever have.
So do you think that was when they went into the temple thing, the Maz, whatever. I can't remember what that little alien
I know
lady
what
was
you're
called.
talking about.
Little wrinkled apricot
Maz.
looking.
Yeah,
Maz was her name.
Yeah,
Maz.
When they went to her house,
Yeah.
yeah, Maz.
Her cantina.
Maz kind of
Right. When they went into the Star Wars space bar.
At least they brought the Wolfman back.
Yeah.
Who they had edited out of the special editions.
Yeah.
So
Dracula was.
that
in
was
there.
You mean the devil?
Oh, right. Sorry.
that was
The devil's a big.
that
fan
was
of his.
when C-3PO said that he was going to get his arm back, right?
Well, I don't think he was in that scene. Was he?
Was it that scene or was
No,
it some other scene?
He wasn't there.
Oh, his line was literally just like, "Oh, you probably didn't recognize because of the red arm or whatever." It's like
He does that when they
There
all
was
show up on the other planet to meet Princess Leia. And
Oh, is it the other?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the other.
Yeah,
Planet.
he wasn't in the space bar.
Okay, sometimes
Jamaican space bar.
Jamaican my space
Jamaican
bar.
cantina.
Welcome to Jamaica. Have a nice day.
cat fell asleep on the space bar.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This space bar.
But yeah, we all liked it.
I'm glad I can look forward to the next one to see where the story goes, not to see how they fix things. You know, there's stuff, obviously, you know, when you have this many years to come up with a sequel to what's become basically fairy tales in our society.
Yeah.
You know, that's a tall order, and I'm just glad that they pulled it off. And I'm also glad that Rey has a really great theme song. Like, the melody they use for her theme is really, really terrific.
Yep.
And that they made a great character, you know, and there are multiple great new characters. So that's really all I could have asked for, you know, is I want to spend more time with these characters. So
Yeah.
that's all a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is nothing in the movie where it's just like, oh God, please don't put that in the next one.
Yeah.
There's just
Pretty much.
I was worried about Maz at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be some just little annoying bullshit character, but
She was wise.
yeah, turned out to be like the best version of that we could have. I guess.
Yep.
We have a voicemail, correct?
Oh, we do.
Is it a voicemail? A Star Wars voicemail?
Maybe.
Voicemail.
Keep up with the lingo, Chuck.
I did it, man! I just saw Force Awakens and holy shit, that movie was amazing! Oh my god! They did it! 35 years and they finally made a good Star Wars movie! Oh my god! Sorry, I'm like literally shaking. Holy shit, that movie was amazing! And the music was spot on. The action was... It wasn't just a bunch of CGI robots fighting a bunch of CGI crap. It was like real people really fighting, and like there were real consequences to the fights, and there were like moments where you actually felt tension, and you were like, "Holy shit, what's gonna happen next?" And it was amazing.
So, yeah.
All right.
That's Jay from California, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm glad people are having that reaction to it. That
Yes.
they are that excited about it.
Absolutely.
And that even the people who are like, man, they just fucking recycled New Hope aren't like 1 star, it's terrible. I've seen a few that are like, man, that was worse than Phantom Menace. And that's like, come on.
That's
Like
crazy
you
talk.
don't understand filmmaking if you're going to say something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm glad there are people who are like, it's better than Empire. I don't agree with them, but I'm glad there are people who have that good a reaction to it.
Yeah. I think going forward, giving the fan base, for lack of a better word, hope for the future of the franchise is a good thing, because it's gonna cut that cynicism out of a lot of it, to where it just became like, oh, another fucking Star Wars thing. Well, that's gonna be garbage. Let's
Yeah,
go see it
I
anyway. A bunch of hate watching.
Now they just need to back the fuck off having every commercial be a Star Wars tie-in. Like that's what's
It's
going to
gonna
kill it
ease
more
off.
than that's what's going to kill it more than anything. Is if next year when Rogue One comes out, they're like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, everything ties into
Buy
Rogue
the
One.
new Nissan Rogue One.
Yeah. Glad bags.
Well, because I mean, there was a commercial break that I saw this weekend where all but one commercial had a Star Wars tie-in.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, like, and that's the thing. They didn't even have to spend money advertising the movie itself.
No.
Everyone else did it for them.
There was a tweet or something that went around about a month ago that says, you could have just told one nerd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'd have all gone to see it still.
Yeah.
Could have just told one nerd.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said it on here or not, but the greatest commercial they ever could have had was just the sound of a lightsaber popping and the date and just a starfield. I mean, it could have even come up in the Star Wars style font. I don't care, but I mean, that's all you needed.
I mean, we've
And
talked about it
a
before
billion
with the-
tickets.
with the Marvel stuff. It's like the marketing departments have somehow gotten this stranglehold on filmmaking, to where it's like, you have to pay us $100 million to market this thing, otherwise you're not going to make any money. And it's like, well, we could make
No, not
another
true.
100 million by not giving you 100 million and just saying, you remember that thing you liked? We made another one. And people will go, yeah.
I like that.
There may come a point where there is and it may not take too long, but there may come a point where there is a bit of a crash, because we keep setting box office record after box office record after box office record. There may come a point where that bubble bursts and we finally lose that gargantuan gross marketing machine that movies have.
Well, the main thing they need to do there is they need to back off of telling everyone how much money they've made on movies, because then it gives people the false excuse of, well, shit, I don't have to pay for that. I can just download that because
Right. Yeah.
they made $1 billion anyway.
Yeah. So they probably made back their marketing budget.
I'm sure.
Well,
yes.
yes.
Just that's what this weekend was
Yeah.
making back the marketing budget.
Now, I mean, a lot
$500 million, by the way, in like 3 days.
Yeah. But, I mean, now, a lot of those marketing deals are more for the benefit of the product than Star Wars. It's like, we need some of that Star Wars rub. Can we cross-brand our bullshit with your bullshit? And a lot of it is...
Someone is now making Star Wars rub for your barbecue. Thank you, Chuck.
Sure. Hey, if
You heard it here first.
I'm going to mail this podcast to myself,
Yeah.
and that
BJ's
idea is
Wookiee
mine.
rub.
It's our new flavor, dewback ribs.
Bantha rub.
Yeah, Panther
Ooh.
rub. I don't know.
Put it in your Sarlacc barbecue pit.
Yeah, cook it for
Uncle,
hundreds of years.
Uncle Wookiees.
But really, that crash that you're talking about is going to happen when we hit the point where everyone realizes that we've run out of shit to recycle.
Yeah.
Uncle Wookiee's artisanal beard oil.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
There it is. I'm buying that.
Yeah, hashtag.
Uncle Wookiees.
But because, I hate to say it, but watching the trailer for for the new Independence Day, that's going to be the same movie, just bigger.
Yeah. Although that trailer barely shows you anything. I don't know what that movie's about.
Aliens.
It's going to be the same movie.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I mean, it does have enough setups where it's like, oh, okay, it's this part too. But
yeah, and I'll
I'm
say
gonna
this
I'm going to go on record and say that movie's going to be terrible. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But
I hope
think
I'm
that
wrong
movie's gonna
too,
be
but
fucking bad.
no.
It's too
I
long.
think
Too long.
it's going to be terribly dumb.
And I feel bad that Batman v Superman seems like it's doing something a little different, but that's not going to matter because it just doesn't look good. And
I will actually go see it in the theater
is Zod-
despite hating Man of Steel.
I think the first trailer was better than the second one. The second one seems like a mistake.
Yeah, the second one's like, here's Doomsday.
Yeah.
And he's probably Zod as a zombie or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Zod B.
Yeah.
Zodby.
I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
But even then, that's an old property doing something new with it.
Yeah.
There's a certain point where you have to start making new things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer that the Matrix fell on its face so hard because we need new stuff like that. And everyone watching the second and third one oh Jesus, this is bad. It made the first one actively worse, and that feels like the last big thing that wasn't some dystopian young adult novel adapted to film.
Man, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe the next great thing is people actually finally making good video game movies. It might be a thing.
Maybe.
Still waiting.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. So I have 2 final thoughts.
Okay.
Take us home.
Okay. I want to see it again in non-3D.
Same here.
I saw it in 3D, and
Y'all
I
saw it in 3D?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it
I
wasn't bad.
I honestly had forgotten up until the time I pulled out my phone and looked at my ticket and was like, "Oh, we're seeing this in 3D."
Yeah.
I think I just went for Showtime. and
Yeah,
availability.
same here. It was the earliest ticket I could get was 7 o'clock with reserved seats, and so I went for it.
It didn't hurt it, but it didn't add anything.
I think. See,
I'm afraid
one
it
of the
might have
things-
hurt it slightly.
Yeah, one of the things that has been bothering me lately is in fast action, it's almost impossible for me to focus. It feels just like things are just happening, and there's just bright lights on the screen, and
Yeah. Well,
So-
remember how much more I liked Mad Max when I got back from seeing the non-3D? I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'd seen it that way, I've been the person that was like, oh my God, Mad Max. But
yeah.
when
So
I saw it in 3D, it was all blur.
I'll say I saw it in 2D, and there was never a moment where I was like, this is just a bunch of garbage on the screen. I can't tell what's happening. It seemed pretty distinctive.
The best thing about the 3D was when the Star Destroyer comes out of the screen,
Oh, yeah, that's the
like
one.
sort of catty corner of your face. That look that That's
Yeah,
the one
there
time
was
I've been
one shot
really
where
happy
it
to
was
see
like-
something in 3D.
All right.
I saw
like,
multiple people in our Rogo
Yeah.
do the reach out thing.
Come here, story.
Yeah, that was really cool. So the other thing, which is an actual final thought, Jerry Springer, bring the camera in close.
No.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens is a new
Christmas
hope
movie.
for the old generation, and a new hope for the new generation.
Box quote. Nice.
Now who's pandering?
Way to do their marketing job for them.
Jeez.
Give it away.
Yeah.
I
That
came
is
up
nice,
with
though.
it myself, so fuck off.
You're such a menace, like a phantom.
No, but I'm right here. I'm not a phantom. I'm a phasma
All right.
or something. I don't know.
That sounds all
Wanted to
right.
yell a little bit.
But yeah, the best thought I had about it is that I want to see it again, like soon, like as soon as I can,
Yeah.
as opposed to the other ones where I was like, I watched them multiple times to try and convince myself that I like them, and I still don't.
The only thing
entirely
that
like
the
'em.
only thing that made me immediately want to see Attack of the Clones a second time was when I heard that, like, if you saw a digital presentation, it was slightly different. That he had more time to futz with stuff.
No.
That was the only thing I was like, oh, I need to go see Attack of the Clones again.
Yeah.
Where's a digital theater?
Was there ever anything different, or was that just rumors?
No. The version that's on DVD is what's on. There's little things like there's a shot when they're getting married at the end where like they show his gold hand and like she takes his gold hand or something like that. It's not in
okay.
the final version. It's
Okay.
I don't know. It's little.
Yeah.
It's little tiny shots.
Yeah. The only thing I still remember is that when I saw the early super preview for episode 1, Darth Maul fell down the shaft in one piece. Because I remember all of us walking out going, well, he'll be back. And then when I saw it,
See, Han Solo will be back.
yeah, and then when I saw it after it came out, they showed him actually split in half, going down the shaft. So they changed that from in the 10 days between the preview and when the movie actually premiered.
Well, I'm sure they were editing up until last
Yeah.
second. I mean,
yeah,
it was,
but the preview I saw, he was in one piece, and it's weird that I never see that mentioned anywhere. But I know what I saw, man.
okay.
But I know it. I only know it because I remember the conversations we had. We're like, well, that was a cool looking guy. I hope they do something with him in the next one.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like, we're saying about this too. We're like, Phasma looked awesome. I hope they do something with her in the next one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep. I have no final thought.
let's go see it again.
Go see Star Wars if you haven't.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, why are you listening to this part?
Right. Really.
Really?
Some people think that they can listen to spoilers without it affecting their enjoyment of the movie.
Those people are wrong.
Terrible people.
I don't care whether those people are wrong or right. I will endeavor to remain
I'm
spoiler
not
free.
referring to their the quality of their statement in their factuality. I'm just saying they're wrong. And
Fair enough.
Through their being.
Fair enough. I hate when people quote that at me. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, motherfucker.
No, science says people like things more if spoilers.
I don't give a fuck. I want to be surprised.
Yeah. Science says you can't go back. So,
Right.
fuck you.
Right. So, speaking of science,
Well, science says you can't go back, but what you can go to is BMFcast.com. And look on the right-hand side, there will be a bunch of buttons which will contain all of our magical mystery methods of contact. And you can get in contact with us. Tell us something about Star Wars that you liked or that you hated, and then we'll tell you how wrong you are.
or right.
Or right you are, depending on if you
Agree with us?
agree with us or not.
Okay.
Right. Or you can give us a call on the Garfield phone, the BMFcast hotline, 9105-JOCK-BMF, 910-556-9263, as you're leaving the theater crying, telling us how much you like the BMFcast.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars. Or the BMFcast.
Or both.
Or both.
Also, if you're driving cross country, I miss those voicemails.
Yeah. Give us a call, imaginary
Well, we
truck
just
drivers.
got to directly post theater.
I know.
voicemail.
I'm just
Those
saying,
other
it's
good
like
kind.
I love it when people are driving from like Georgia to Alaska and they're just like, "I'm in Montana. I just listened to episode 47. It's pretty good. Bye,
Bye.
I would have liked to have seen one.
Montana."
All right, well, let's get out of here, shall we?
Yep.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And this is BMFcast out. Motherfucker.
Merry Christmas. Ooh.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Sweat. Sweat.
Good night, YouTube people.
Lose yourself to cast.
It felt really good to get all
Lose
that
yourself
out.
to cast.
Yep.
I haven't been able to talk to anybody.
Have you seen Star Wars yet? No.
No, all right, bye.
Really need to talk.